afternoon, everyone. Good morning to those of you out on the West Coast. We're in St. Louis at Busch Stadium. We have a little bit of rain, and we may have some rain throughout the entire afternoon. And it's the start of the 86th season for the Los Angeles Rams and the St. Louis Cardinals. And we're happy that you're with us. 59 degrees. It is unseasonably cool here in St. Louis, and the forecast is for more rain, but this AstroTurf field is in very playable condition. I'm Jack Buck. It's a pleasure to be here with you, and also a pleasure to welcome my new broadcasting partner, Joe Theismann. And Joe thinks that the Rams are going to be better than they were a year ago.
I think the Rams are going to be a better football team. Last year, they made it to the NFC Championship game, basically on a defensive and running football team. They've added Steve Bartkowski, which I think will add a dimension for him in the passing game.
They have very few new players on the Rams. The Cardinals, meanwhile, have 12 rookies on the team and 16 new faces. So what does that tell you about them?
It tells me that they're an uncertain football team. I think everything is new here in St. Louis. Gene Stallings is new. He's a new head coach. He really does not know what to get from his football team. The most important thing, obviously, to Gene, as he mentioned, is to win. But I think more important, his football team is going to have to go out there and play good, tough football. Tough is the key for the St. Louis Cardinals this afternoon.
The Rams won the toss, and they will receive. We have a look at Gene Stallings, the new head coach of the Cardinals, and he told us before he's nervous. He's a little uptight. He said that the real big thrill of being involved in the National Football League came before the first exhibition game. And there's John Robinson, and even as though he's been around for a long time, I'm sure, Joe, that he's a little uptight, wondering what his team is going to do today and this year. He wants a cap because it is raining and probably will rain on and off all afternoon.
I think he'll just hold it, keep it, and just in case it gets a little wet. It's the first game jitters. I don't care how long you've played in the National Football League or how many games you've coached in the National Football League. The first game always gets you going a little bit.
And here's your first test. The name of the Cardinal kicker is?
Very simple, Evan.
Yeah, Evan Arapastathis. He's a young man from La Mesa in California, so you know him. And Charles White and Ron Brown are the deep men. Here we go, and we hope that you enjoy it. The ball heads for Brown, and he took it outside the 10. It was not a very deep kick, but it was not returned past the 25-yard line, and we go from there. Well, Arapastathis showed us who used to kick the ball into the end zone, but not this time. The quarterback for the Rams, another new one on opening day, is Steve Bartkowski, and he's into the game, number 10. Here's the defense the Cardinals send up in the 3-4. Stafford Mays, Mark Duda, and Gary Doolin. David Galloway will not play. Freddie Jonan, E.J. Jr., Nico Noga, Charlie Baker, the strength of the club. Smith, Washington, Young, and Leonard Smith are the deep backs. Redden is in the backfield with Eric Dickerson from the 24. Ho, ho, ho. Right to the air and incomplete. Very heavy coverage by E.J. Jr., and Bartkowski is 0 for 1. Here's the rest of the crew for Bartkowski with Dickerson and Redden. And Ron Brown, the wide receiver, with Bobby Duckworth, Noel Ron Ellard. And up front, we have 4 Pro Bowlers out of the group there. Pankey, Hill, Smith, Harris, Slater, and David Hill. Second down and 10. Duckworth and Brown are the wide receivers. Here comes Dickerson, and he has short yards. It's 3rd and long coming up. Gary Doolin was one of the first in there, along with Mark Duda, who is the nose tackle. That was a 5-yard pickup for Eric, who had big yards last year after a slow start, having missed a lot of training camp.
Well, he did miss a lot of training camp. He didn't really start the first 2 ball games. Charles White played in his place, but he's still the man I believe that the Cardinals feel like they have to stop to win this football game.
It's 3rd down and 6. Extra defensive back is Carl Carter. Bubba Baker is on the defensive line for the Cardinals. 3rd and 6 out of the shotgun. To the sideline, and the ball took off on him, and he's out of bounds. The nose of the ball got up, Joe.
It got up a little bit, and I happen to think, you know, the field's a little wet. It comes up on the ball just a little bit, right about where Steve's thumb would be, and you'll see it sail. You saw it sail right out of his hand and a little bit high.
And it was intended for Duckworth. It went out of bounds, and here is a beautiful performer to watch. The Pro Bowl punter, Dale Hatcher, 43 plus last year per kick. And back to get it, a newcomer, Bartkowski, out of Brigham Young. He's inside the 30. Dale Hatcher doing the kick. I just get a kick out of just watching him in practice. Man, he is something.
Young one yesterday, 5.6 seconds.
He'll put it to the rim of the stadium. Low snap. He handles it. No pressure. And not his best kick, but pretty good hang time. And Sikahema took it on the 26. He's across the 35, and the Cardinals will go from there. There is a flag, and Norwood Van made the tackle. The officials talk it over. Ineligible man downfield. And let's see what they do about that. The Cardinals have a choice. They can either start from their own 37. I think they'll do that.
I do too.
Penalty is declined. First down.
Okay, that's Bob McElway, the referee, and here is Neil Lomax. He's into the game to quarterback the Cardinals. Here's the defense, three-man front. Sean Miller, Charles DeJournay, and Reggie Doss. The linebackers, Owens, Giroux, Eckern, and Wilshire, still good. Jerry Gray on one corner, Leroy Irvin on the other, Vince Newsom, and Nolan Cromwell. And the Cardinals on offense have Earl Farrell and O.J. Anderson. Farrell goes on a wing. Roy Green is not starting today. Billy and J.T. Smith are the wide receivers. Well, they led the wing back, and they handed off, and nothing doing on the first drive from scrimmage for the Cardinals, only a yard. And the rest of the Cardinal offense. They have Randy Clark at center. Let's talk about Lomax, Anderson, Farrell. The wide receivers, Tilley and Smith, with Green not playing. He will play, though. Sharp, Dawson, Clark, Bostic, Lance Smith. The tight end is Doug Marsh. Second down and 9. Now we have all the players identified for you. They make it 2nd and 8. That's Earl Farrell, the fullback. He was really pushed deep, first of all, by Sean Miller. He jammed everything up with his penetration, Joe.
Well, with his penetration, that's exactly what happens. When you start to run wide, the most important thing is for the linebacker to stretch the runner as far as he can so the safety supports can get up. Los Angeles plays basically a zone defense, so what they'll want to do is stretch it and get the corners involved in the run support.
And the tag was made by Mel Owens. As a result, it's 3rd and 6 at the 41, and into the game is Roy Green. He comes wide left. And he's covered by Leroy Irvin. Out of the shotgun is Lomax on 3rd down. His first throw, a 4-man rush. Oh, what a big hit was made by Gary Jeter, who was up to his old tricks. He had 11 last year, and he took right off, and nobody picked him up.
Lomax doesn't even see him coming. He's concentrating downfield. Here comes Jeter, right on a trick on the inside, tries to step up in the pocket. Bang. 2 cut.
Okay, here is a new punter. His name is Evan Arapastathis. He's out of Eastern Illinois, better known as Evan, and he is under the gun here today. He knows that if he doesn't do well today, he is gone. He's not a very good punter, folks. Back to get it is Mickey Sutton, a newcomer to the Rams. He's inside his 30. That's a pretty good kick for him. Sutton's going to return it from the 27. One party had a real good crack at him, but missed, and then Rick DiBernardo made the tackle, and the Rams get the ball for the second time. Well, they've felt each other out, and now we'll settle into this game. Well, we're underway here in the first game of the season for these two clubs in the regular season, that is. Busch Stadium, we have 41,000 here. A disappointing crowd, but with an attractive opener, an attractive opponent like the Rams. I'm with Joe Theismann, and I'm Jack Buck, and Bartkowski's 0 for 2. Joe, you said you've seen him throw, that he's throwing as well as ever.
Oh, he is throwing as well as ever. I don't think you can necessarily judge how well a guy is throwing by his opening. What I think the Rams have done is made an opening statement, and they've said, look, we are going to throw the football a little bit more.
Out they come at their 34. Ron Brown comes to the right. Bobby Duckworth is to the left side. Redden and Eric Dickerson. Motion by Brown. Toss to Dickerson. Pretty good pursuit. A fumble, and the Rams got it back. Rams were lucky that AstroTurf bounce, and it came right up to the tight end, David Hill. Here's Dick Corey, Joe. He's big in the Rams picture, isn't he?
Well, he is big. John Robinson brought him in to try and put some life in their passing game. It's going to be basically simple. It's not going to be a lot of complicated stuff, but he feels like he wants to get the ball into the hands of the people that can get the ball down the field quick.
Dickerson picked up 3. And the line of scrimmage is now the 37-yard line. David Hill recovered that fumble. Dickerson up the middle, and they got to him pretty well. Now the Cardinal fans aren't used to seeing good defense. They've seen it pretty well here in the early, and they stuffed them this time.
Well, it's what Gene Stallings' forte is defense. He coached the defensive backs for 13 years as an assistant in Dallas. Here you see him fill the gaps. They really feel like they've got to control Eric Dickerson at the line of scrimmage. They respect his speed tremendously.
Nicky Noga led the way, number 57, 3rd and 4. Redden goes out, single back. And now they have the 2 tight ends in there. Tony Hunter. Michael Young checks into the lineup. 4-man front, 4-man rush. And incomplete. Very strong coverage by Leonard Smith, number 45, and the Rams will have to punt again. Now this is exciting for St. Louis people, Joe, because they don't see good defense very often.
Well, they haven't. In the past few years, they've had a great explosive offense, but their defense just hasn't played the way they want to. It looks like they're playing with a lot more intensity and really tight coverage.
So Hatcher, Dale Hatcher, will kick for the second time. First one was 47, and it really didn't look like one of his best. By Sikahema is back inside the 20. This fellow's a fire dancer, by the way. He's from Tonga. And he actually makes money doing a fire dance.
Well, he's going to get a chance to fire dance as soon as those Rams start down the field a little bit, too.
We shall see. Cardinals are really trying to jam up the outside men of the Rams. Sikahema is the only one back there. We played 4.5 minutes. Big rush. And they ran into him. That'll cost the Cardinals possession. They tried to stop, but they couldn't. It looked like Lonnie Young, number 43, made contact. And the referee threw the flag. Personal foul. Boo, say the fans, but they did run into him. It's making contact. It'll be a minor penalty. It'll be first down. There's Gene Stallings. You're going to gamble, Gene. You're going to have to pay for it.
Well, yeah, but, I mean, you know, you talk about acting, too. I think they feel like if you're going to commit an offense, you commit an offense. If you bump a guy, it's all in natural movement. I don't know.
Running into the kicker, number 76, defense.
I think the referee was right with the call. They were coming after him so strongly, they couldn't stop. Hatcher didn't do any acting. They ran into him.
Well, they didn't really run into him, though. I mean, he just, you know, obviously guys are going to walk by you. When you're talking about roughing the kicker, you're talking about smashing into him. They sort of danced around him a little bit. They got close.
He didn't rough him. He ran into him.
Okay. All right. Nitpick.
Ball's at the 45 and a first down for the Rams. Duckworth goes to the left. Redden is the up back. Brown to the right. Good fake by Bartkowski. And incomplete. He had his man, intended it for Tony Hunter. He was quite short, and Bartkowski is not hot here at the beginning.
No, he doesn't. He's just not playing. He's not really putting the ball out where he should. He gets ample time. You'll see on the play action. There's Tony Hunter coming out, releases. Smith's got him one-on-one. He runs a semi-corner. He's allowed to bump him there because he's holding his ground, and he can't quite get to the football.
Bartkowski is 0 for 4, and it's 2nd and 10 as Al Baker comes into the defensive alignment of the Cardinals. He plays the right defensive end. Well, that Cardinal defense looks a little familiar to those of you who've seen Dallas play a lot. Here's Redden with his first try, and nothing doing there. The linebacker, Charlie Baker, got him. Rams are using a 2-back offense this year more than before.
Well, I think, John, in talking to John Robinson, he has been concerned about the pressure on the quarterback in a 1-back offense. Granted, you get more receivers down the field with 4 people on the line of scrimmage, but the most important thing in a passing game is being able to block and give your passer a chance to do it. They feel like they can do it better with 2 backs in the backfield.
One thing about the passing game, if you misfire on it, you're going to be in a lot more trouble than you are when you are a running team. Dennis Thurman checks in for the Cardinals, along with Carl Carter. Michael Young is in for the Rams. It's 3rd and 8. Cardinals are blitzing. They're all coming, and they didn't get there. And as a result, a first down. Out of bounds. Out of bounds. Out of bounds, intended for Ron Brown. They never got near Bartkowski on a full-out blitz. Lionel Washington was covering, and a flag is down. Is he in or is he out? He caught it. He got 1 foot in.
87. Offense.
That was tight.
45.
No, it's a good call.
Was he on the line?
Unfortunately,
We have offsetting penalties on that 3rd and 8 play.
Or after the ball was dead. The down counts.
the foul was after the ball was dead.
So they're not offsetting penalties, and the down does count, and it's 3rd and 8. So now Hatcher is in to kick for the 3rd time. Only one of which counted.
What you saw on the last 3rd down was what St. Louis is going to want to do, not just in this ball game, but all year. They want to put pressure. They want to be aggressive defensively, especially in 3rd down situations.
But they better get there.
Yeah, well, they got it blocked. The offensive line blocked it the last time.
Sickham is going to let it go wisely, and it's into the end zone. It'll come out to the 20-yard line. Hatcher, by the way, never aims for the corner. He just kicks it straight away and kicks it up high. And we have 9:19 left in the scoreless first quarter. Cardinals at their 20. A quality background for Gene Stallings at Alabama, Texas A&M, and with the Dallas Cowboys. And he learned under the late Bear Bryant and also under Tom Landry. And there he is, 30 years in coaching, and this is his pro debut.
This man is nervous.
Yeah.
I can tell you, he's downright nervous.
How about Bartkowski?
I think he's a little nervous. He's a little antsy back there. The ball's just not coming out of his hand, I think, as smoothly as it can.
Tilly comes to the left. J.T. Smith is to the right. And Lomax hands off to Anderson, bounces outside, and a good tackle was made. A terrific tackle made by Jerry Gray on the corner. We have scores of other games. The 49ers jump ahead 7-0 in the first quarter, and Atlanta's ahead of New Orleans in the first quarter 7-0. Cleveland and Chicago, the Browns playing them tough, 7-7 in the first quarter, and a 91-yard kickoff return by Dennis Gentry for the Bears after they fell behind, obviously. A pickup of 4 by O.J. Anderson. 390. He's in the backfield with Earl Farrell. Lomax quite hobbled with a bad knee, a bad ankle, bad blocking. Ducks and throws, and it's caught. And that's a first down for the Big Red as Doug Marsh caught the pass. Cardinal tight ends caught only 1 pass in the preseason, and this fella caught it. LaFleur caught it.
Well, it hasn't been that they haven't tried to throw to him. A couple of them been dropped. I'm talking to Lomax yesterday. A couple of them been dropped, a couple of them overthrown. They've tried to get the football there. Now's when it counts, and it seems like they're converting it.
Ball at the St. Louis 34, and their first down of the day. 8 minutes left in the first quarter, no score. Into the act. Billy left, Smith right. Pass play. Screen to O.J. Looks good. What a good tackle to slow things down. What a big hit by Anderson. Leroy Irvin missed. He hit him head up, and he got away in a 9-yard gain by number 32.
There's Neil Lomax right now. What he does is O.J. Anderson has been running fairly well. They've come out running. They do a play fake to him. He slides over. It's a zone defense that the Rams are playing. Everybody's back in coverage. Here he gets his lineman out in front of him. Irvin comes up, makes the hit, but Anderson is so strong. Newsom comes up, makes another hit, and it takes 3 of them to bring him down.
He delivered quite a blow when he was tackled. The ball's at the Cardinal 43, and it's 2nd and 1.
He's an attack runner. He attacks the defense.
Straight ahead, he fumbled the ball. Rams think they have it. The Rams do have it. The play continues. This play is live, folks. And it's inside of the Cardinal 15 as Sean Miller picked it up. Anderson fumbled the handoff. Miller picked it up and was wise enough to ramble with it. And the ball is deep into Cardinal territory.
There was no whistle. Everybody was just sort of standing around, waiting to see what happens. Anderson gets his hands on the ball right here, but he tries to put it away. It slides right through comes out in the melee. And now somebody's got it. The referee says it's on the ground. That's his hat, not a flag. He's just marking possession. Miller comes up with it. Now he starts down the field. And his linebackers become offensive linemen as blockers for him.
And the ball is down the St. Louis 15, the first break of the day, the first turnover.
This is an area where Eric Dickerson can throw the football. So it's something that should be considered.
Motion by the tight end, David Hill. Toss to Dickerson. Got only a couple. Charlie Baker, the linebacker. Now, there are two Bakers in the lineup. Charlie Baker, 52, and Bubba Baker, who plays at times at number 60. Cardinal linebackers are Noga, Jr., Baker, and Nunn, and they're getting better and better.
They are. They're getting better and better. There is probably as good a foursome as there is. They're just a little bit young. They have to play together a little bit longer, but as they continue to grow and work together, you'll see them get stronger and stronger.
No score, first quarter, 7 minutes left, 2nd and 8. Split banks with Redden and Dickerson. Bartkowski trying to hit his first pass of the day, and it's broken up. Intended for Ron Brown, and Leonard Smith got a hand on it at the last moment.
Well, you get down around the goal line and you anticipate man-to-man coverage. Here the Cardinals do a nice job on Ron Brown as he tries to break to the post.
Do they miss Henry Ellard?
Yes, they do, very much. 54 catches last year. That much offense gone from your team definitely hurts you. Talking to John yesterday, Robinson, he said definitely he's a big part of our football team.
Dennis Thurman is in the Cardinal defensive alignment. Rams on 3rd down are 0 for 3. That's 3rd and 8. Dickerson on the running play. And a loose ball. Loose ball. Dickerson coughed it up for the 2nd time, but I think the Rams have it. They do. And it's 4th down, and here comes Mike Lansford onto the field. Well, they had first down at the Cardinal 15-yard line. Going to have to settle for 3.
This is a big plus for the St. Louis Cardinal defense. The Ram offense definitely has got to be disappointed. Now, they've got to come away with some points here.
What do you think of that call?
I thought it was a good call. I think John's playing a little bit more conservative. He wants to get the 3 points. He wants to get on the board. But you got to give credit to the St. Louis Cardinal defense for standing up and only giving up 3 if that's what happens.
Steve Dills will hold the ball. We have a 29-yard try by Lansford. The ball belongs to the Cardinals because it was 4th down.
No matter where they pick it up, the Cardinals have it.
A high snap causes the misfire. Jim Laughlin is the new man.
You'll see the snap come here. It hits Dills right in the face. Lansford tries to catch it. You're never going to see a catcher catch it. Watch out for his foot. No matter who gets it, they've got it. It's a great play.
The Rams lost their snapper from a year ago, and that hurt them. Doug Smith snapped that ball. The Rams lost Brady, and the ball came right at Dills, and Noga recovered, and the ball's at the Cardinal 29. So the Rams came away empty-handed after having first down at the St. Louis 15. Here comes Anderson. And he moves across to the 31 and tackled by Reggie Doss. There are a couple of people missing out of this Ram defense, and one, their leading tackler of a year ago, Jim Collins. And, of course, they've lost Gary Green off at the corner, Joe.
Right. Gary Green was very important to what they wanted to do as far as a defensive team goes. They like their corners. Although they play zones, they like the speed and quickness in the corners. They feel like they can gamble every now and then and give them a chance to play it one-on-one.
We had a look at the defensive coordinator of the Rams. Here's 2nd down and a short drop-off to Anderson. It's going to be 3rd down and 5 coming up. Tackled by Mark Giroux. They say he's getting better and better at that inside linebacker spot.
He's got some big shoes to fill playing for Jim Collins.
And, of course, looking back, they've also lost Eric Harris in recent times, the Rams, so they've had to fill in. Roy Green checks into the Cardinal lineup. Coming up on 5 minutes left in the scoreless first quarter. Harry Jeter comes in to help with the pass rush, 3rd and 5. Kevin Green is in at the defensive end spot on the other side. show the blitz, and it's a 5-man rush. The pass is caught by Roy Green for a first down at the 45. I tell you, he hung that one on a line. Johnny Johnson hanging all over it.
Johnny was right on top of him. Roy goes down, does a turn-in pattern. The ball is delivered right on. Timing passes are the most difficult passes to defend against. That was perfect timing by Lomax and Green.
And a first down. Green has a bad shoulder. They didn't know whether or not he would play today, and evidently he's going to play sparingly. He's afraid if he gets hurt more so, he'll be out for about a month. But he's a spot player today. First down at the St. Louis 45. A.T. Smith to the left, Chili to the right. Morris the tight end on the left side. First down pass. Swings it off, a little safety valve. O.J. splits tacklers and gets a first down. Boy, he's strong. Do they love it here? Yard play on an innocent little safety valve.
It was a checkoff pattern. Lomax wants to go down the field. Here he play action fakes again to Anderson. Not really a good fake. He wants to go downfield, but they're in the zone. Therefore, he dumps it out to the side. Now, this is where Otis Anderson is healthy and running tremendously.
Earl Farrell had a good block.
Everybody did. Everybody had a shot at it.
Ball at the 40. Roy Green comes back in on first down. Haven't thrown to Tilley yet. Uh-oh, he's airing it out for Green, and he's there. Now it's underthrown, and it is now incomplete. Underthrew the ball. Would have been good if he had gotten more on it.
I think it would have been good, but I don't, the Rams play a zone. You'll see Nolan Cromwell back in center field. They want to go after Jerry Gray. He's taken the corner for Gary Green, and they're going to work on him a little bit. But the Rams play a zone defense. You'll see Nolan Cromwell in the middle of your screen moving back. Jerry Gray goes up. He has a shot at it. Roy never even really has a shot at the football. But you just can't throw deep down the middle with a center fielder there. And that's where Cromwell's going to be all afternoon.
Lomax is 5 for 6. Stump Mitchell comes into the game for the Cardinals, number 30. 2nd and 10 from the Rams 40. A delay to Mitchell. He slipped, and then he was covered and taken down by Charles DeJournay. So it'll be 3rd and long coming up. Mitchell, a little fella, 5'9", but 190 pounds. He's the biggest favorite of all the players here in St. Louis.
Well, I'll tell you something. That guy has meant more to this football team. With Otis Anderson missing as much as he did last year and being hurt, Stump Mitchell went in, rushed for 1,000 yards as a backup back, and you just can't. He returns kicks, returns punts. He's a receiver. He's a runner. He's a blocker. Does everything for him.
Cardinals take their tight end out. They have 3 wide receivers. 3rd and 8. And incomplete. Roy Green was trying to get clear, and there was good, tough coverage by Johnny Johnson, who just wouldn't let Green go where he wanted to go. He didn't interfere with him, but he kept him from going where he wanted to go.
He kept him from getting into that zone. Like I mentioned, the Rams play a lot of zone defense. They're going to be holes to hit, but they're going to be small holes to hit, and it's going to take timing patterns to get it done. That time, Johnny Johnson was right on top of Roy Green, didn't give him that little avenue to throw in.
Rapastathis will punt for the 2nd time.
That's right, Evan will.
I'm going to get you to pronounce his name
maybe
before the day's over. He'll probably just try to pooch the ball, hang it high, or he may try to drive it out of bounds. Let's see. This kicker, punter, never expected to be here today. They cut him once, they brought him back. And they dropped Carl Birdsong, who had been in the Pro Bowl previously. He tries for out of bounds. And he got lucky. Evaristo, how you feeling? Evaristo, 34-yard punt out of bounds inside the 5. Well, they may not call a taxi for that kid at the end of the game. He may play next week. That kid can't keep the grin off his face. That's the punter, Rapastathis. We have no score here. 2:11 left in the first quarter. And the Eagles lead the Redskins in the first quarter, Joe Theismann.
Listen, everybody wondered about Buddy Ryan, what they're finding out. Well, they see that Chicago evidently hasn't missed him much.
And Houston's ahead at Green Bay, 7-3 in the first quarter. The Rams are bottled up back to their 3. They have 2 tight ends, Hill and Hunter. And two backs, Redden and Dickerson. Big hole. Uh-oh. What a big run. Boy, did that thing open up, and Lonnie Young had to make the tackle out around the 30-yard line.
Vintage Eric Dickerson.
Where was the linebacker?
Linebacker probably filled inside. They were concerned about the guards in center. Watch what happens. You'll see the linebacker on the right of your screen. Guard gets out, does a good job on him.
Good block by Hara.
That's exactly what they try and do. Eric just runs behind that big offensive line. Ron Brown does a nice job of blocking downfield. And you see him pick up 27, 28 yards.
Make it 25. Out to the 28-yard line. And a first down. That really helps the Rams. And Bartkowski has the first down call. A little shorty and good yards on that one, too. Very close to a first down. Well, we see if it's a first down. Let's go to Brent Musburger in New York.
Jack, I know that Ram fans are wondering, what about the 49ers? Well, Joe Montana threw his first touchdown pass to Mike Wilson a short time ago, and the Niners lead Tampa Bay 14-0. Let's go back to Jack and Joe Theismann.
Okay, Brent, it was a first down throw to Barry Redden out at the 39-yard line of Los Angeles. Now, remember, they started from their 3. This is typical of the Rams. They can put the good drive together. Here comes Dickerson. Look out again. And he's tackled at midfield by Lonnie Young. Mr. Dickerson, I would bet that with those passes falling incomplete, Dickerson saying to himself, let me have that thing.
Well, he is. But again, E.J. Jr. was concerned about what the Rams are doing. He was afraid that the guards. There's a great block by Barry Redden. Now Eric runs up inside. He really has run through holes where he hasn't had to make many moves. The Ram front 3 at center and 2 guards are creating great pass for him to go up the field.
That's Doug Smith, Kent Hill, Dennis Harris. The tackles are Pankey and Jackie Slater, and the ball's at midfield. Another first down. Here he comes this way. And he gained only a yard or 2, and a good tackle by Noga, number 57. Noga, by the way, is from American Samoa. He is a tough cookie, and he loves to hit.
Oh, he loves to hit. He walks around with T-shirts with machine gun bullets flying out. I mean, I asked him yesterday, what are you going to do to relax? He says, oh, I'll go rent a Commando or a Terminator, some movie like that, to get me in a good frame of mind for the ball game.
Only 10 seconds left in the first quarter. Clock running, no score. The ball at the St. Louis 49, 2nd and 9. They may just let it run out. They can without taking a penalty. That's what they're going to do. No. Quarter's over, Steve. Just relax. Okay, well, I don't know why the Rams were favored by such a narrow margin, but they were only about a 3.5-point favorite. Cardinals have played them tough.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Miller Lite. For great taste, there is only one light beer. Your local BMW dealer. BMW, the ultimate driving machine. And by IBM.
We had a scoreless first quarter, 1 turnover for each team. The Rams have 2nd and 9 at the St. Louis 49, and there is Steve Bartkowski. Bartkowski 1 out of 7 in the first 15 minutes.
And it was 0 for 6 going in. He hit his last pass, but he hit it to a back, and I think that's going to be the way he's going to have to go today against the Cardinals.
Al Baker is in there defensively for St. Louis at the right defensive end. Dickerson is feeling his oats at the moment. Another pass play by Bartkowski, and wide open. They got him isolated on Wayne Smith over there, and it's a first down throw to Bobby Duckworth. Duckworth is not to be trifled with. He's a danger out there.
Oh, he is a danger. They got him last year from San Diego. He is a speed receiver. He's the kind of guy they like to have. He's big. He's tall. He's good against one-on-one coverage because of his size.
How'd they get him out there isolated like that?
The Cardinals are aggressive. They brought all their linebackers. They put a blitz on. Bang, you wind up one-on-one with the corners. Something like that can happen. He makes a tackle. He misses a tackle. He's gone for 6.
Ball is at the St. Louis 39. And a pass play of that sort sets up a running play. And here's the flea flicker to Bartkowski. And there goes Duckworth. And it's intercepted and then incomplete. And a good job by Duckworth of taking it away from Lonnie Young. They weren't fooled by that play. Wayne Smith and Lonnie Young on the coverage.
What happens here is Eric Dickerson does not really get a chance to fake the run to draw the secondary coverage in. Bartkowski gets hit just as he lets it go. Duckworth is there, but the ball is underthrown. Got to give credit to the front men of the St. Louis Cardinals by putting pressure on Bartkowski. That play needs a little more time.
Noga was on top of Bartkowski as he was throwing the ball at 2nd and 10. That was the call of Dick Curry. Dickerson slips. He didn't get good yardage. Then he was really whacked. He was hit hard by Leonard Smith.
Oh, and he knows it too. He says,
Yeah,
gee
he
whiz,
felt
if I
that
could
one.
only cut. Well, he knows that he had a lot of open space. If I could have just cut there to the left, I may have picked up a lot more yardage.
This turf does get slippery, and we had some morning long rain. None at the moment. Likely to have more before this game is over. Ball at the St. Louis 38. And it's 3rd and 8. Minnesota is first to score in their game against Detroit. Second quarter, 3-0 Vikings. Dennis Thurman and Carl Carter check into the Cardinal backfield. And the whistle stops play. Are we down to the 30-second clock? Delay of game, I think.
False start.
No, false start.
Number 60 offense.
That was Dennis Harrah. Maybe Harrah was looking at the 30-second clock, too.
It might well have been. You know, you get a new quarterback and a new coach who's signaling plays in, and you may have that because the terminology is a little bit different, doesn't flow out of your mouth quite as smoothly. You want to enunciate and make sure, especially in 3rd and long situations, you want to make sure everybody knows what's going on. So you use up 30 seconds sometimes.
3rd down and 14. John Robinson didn't like that occurrence. Those are the kind of things where there really is no excuse for it. You know, sometimes in a pass play, it takes a little while in the huddle. But there's no excuse to have your man move like that.
First game, Jack. A lot of little things like that have to be ironed out.
Ball at the St. Louis 43. Extra wide receiver, Michael Young. Over the middle and caught by Tony Hunter. 1st and goal at the 2. At the 1. Dennis Thurman tackled him, and Hunter really streaked free. The blitz was on again, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't. That time they dropped everybody back in coverage. But what Tony Hunter managed to do was get in the soft zone between the linebackers and the deep secondary. See him come out of the backfield, puts a move on the linebacker. That's a mismatch. He gets up the field.
You're right.
And there he goes. See, now that's a mismatch. He's like a wide receiver with his speed.
Junior couldn't keep him from getting away, nor could he catch him.
No, it's a very tough position. They realize in that situation he may make the move inside. Junior took and what's known as build the wall inside, and then Tony put a move on him, went up the field.
Well, John Robinson wants a commercial. 12:25 left in the half, and the Rams are at the St. Louis 1.
Tony Hunter is actually in the backfield to block because the Cardinals have blitzed before. Here, E.J. Jr. has him. As soon as the play is snapped, he comes out of the backfield. This is the versatility of Tony Hunter.
And now Dickerson is going to get his first touchdown in the year. Not on that play. He had 12 last season. The Cardinals drove him back with Mark Duda and Gary Doolin. And then all the help they needed from Noga and others. And the line of scrimmage remains the same, 2nd and 1. And there's Gene Stallings. He's not happy, is he?
No, you know, the big play came against the defensive secondary, which, of course, has been his forte. And he leans a little bit towards the defense, although not coaching anything specifically.
Actually lost about a half a yard. Let's call it 2nd and goal from the 2. Hunter in motion. Dickerson tries, and is wrestled down at the goal line. Not over yet. 3rd and inches. Doolin and Duda, Leonard Smith and Noga were in on it for St. Louis.
That's the toughest real estate on a football field. Inside the 2-3 yard line. You got everybody packed into a little area.
Now, if this were Theismann quarterbacking, I'd look for a bootleg.
Little play action fake, little swing, get the back outside and try and run it in. Bartkowski does not run well, so you can pretty much eliminate that part of it. You think, but you never know with Dick Corey.
3rd down and goal from about a foot away. Motion by Hunter. Toss to Dickerson in. Touchdown. First points of the year. Eric Dickerson, who had 12 a year ago, gets one from 1 foot out with 10:59 remaining in the first quarter. It was set up by the big pass play to Tony Hunter. And the thing about that pass play was that Bartkowski didn't miss him.
No, he didn't. Tony Hunter did a nice job putting a move on E.J. Jr. to get himself open. It was 3rd down and 14. Percentages would say you have to go to your wide receivers, not somebody out of the backfield to pick up that much yardage. Worked against the Cardinals that time.
Mike Lansford missed only 1 extra point last year. Steve Dills will hold. There's Dickerson. End zone is not strange territory for him. Brightening up here in St. Louis, weather-wise. Doug Smith snapping the ball again. Oh, he did it again. And it remains 6-0. Play's dead right now. 10:59 left in the half. You know, a lot of people discount the importance of snapping the ball or catching the ball.
It's a three-phase game. There's the snap, there's the hold, and then there's the kick. And that, the ball's, I don't know whether it's greasy or slimy or what it is. It just keeps squirting right through his hands.
And there's Steve Dills. Let's watch Redden blocking on the touchdown.
Well, he's just been so important here. He leads up in the hole. Look at that. Creates the avenue for Eric going in. You know, Eric Dickerson, on the West Coast there, they've got Marcus Allen with the Raiders. Dickerson has a pride factor playing out there with the guy. Also in this football game, Otis Anderson is a big back with a big name who does a lot of good things. So he's a real challenge for him.
Let's talk a little bit more about the Rams losing Ed Brady. He was on waivers and Cincinnati picked him up. He had been their long snapper. Now we thought perhaps today Jim Laughlin would do the snapping, but it turns out to be Doug Smith. And Smith is 0 for 2 on good snaps.
Well, I don't think you can blame Doug Smith. The snaps are a little bit high, but they're definitely able to be handled. I think the ball is getting up a little bit high. He may not be quite concentrating as much as he has to, especially in wet weather.
Back for the Cardinals by Sikahema and Stump Mitchell. And this will be a return by Mitchell to the 25, 35, stretches out to the 37 with a good return. That doesn't happen to the Rams very often. Nolan Cromwell made the tackle.
No, the Rams have got great special teams. Last year, I believe they were up first in the National Football League, so they'll get down the field very well.
On CBS next Saturday, what a good matchup. The Buckeyes of Ohio State, my alma mater, against the Washington Huskies. If they win this one, I'm going to pay my alumni dues.
You are, finally.
They could have beaten Alabama, Joe.
They could have beaten. They played very well at the breaks of the game. They had a lot of opportunities.
And the Big Ten's had trouble out there on the West Coast in recent years against those West Coast teams. Cardinals from their own 37. Anderson tried to cut back up the middle, but those linebackers filled it in quickly, and Carl Eckern made the tackle.
This is an important psychological series of downs for the Cardinals. They have to move the football. Maybe not score, but they have to move the football up the field a little bit to get a little bit of that confidence that was taken away by the Dickerson touchdown.
6-0, the Rams lead with 10:20 remaining in the first half. Pat Tilley comes to the right. J.T. Smith is to the left. Marsh, the tight end, on the left side, 2nd and 8. Earl Farrell in the backfield with Anderson. I'd like to throw to Farrell. In fact, he's out there now. Thank you. And he broke a tackle and got a few yards.
You were in the huddle, weren't you?
I was.
Is that where you ran out to?
10 minutes left in the half. 3rd down for St. Louis, 3rd and about 3.
You know, the Cardinals last year put the ball down the field an awful lot. I don't mean in the swing passes like that. I mean down the field a lot to their wide receivers. This year they want to try and get the ball to their backs a little bit more in a little bit more controlled passing game. 3rd down and 3, 3rd down and 4. Percentages would say it's fairly convertible for the offense.
See, the 49ers are ahead by 14, and Atlanta's ahead by a touchdown. Charlie Brown caught that touchdown pass.
Downtown Charlie Brown.
From Archer. 3rd down and a long 2. Oh, he dropped it. He would have had a 1st down, but Anderson tried to turn and go and forgot to catch the ball. He had to throw it low. Lomax did.
Well, he threw it down low. Otis it's not his strong suit. He does well with the ball up around his body, but when he gets away a little bit down low, it's a tough catch for anybody. And that's the kind of stuff you have to convert.
Mike Wiltshire was covering on the play, and Evan Arapastathis is going to be punting for the 3rd time. Back to get it is Mickey Sutton, who's a little guy, 5'8", 165 out of Montana. The Rams get the ball back. Not too good a kick. It's so bad the guy can't field it. And it is down by St. Louis near the 20. Downfield was Anthony Bell to down the ball. The ball is at the Ram 22. Well, you're going to be watching the men go at it for the men's singles title in the U.S. Open. Martino won the first 6-3 against Hannes Sikova. We'll keep track of that one for you, and then you'll watch Lendl and Machir here on CBS after the end of the football game. The ball's at the 23-yard line of the Rams. Imagine they'll try to get Dickerson going again. Brown in motion. Eric comes into the hands of Baker, and Wayne Smith came up to help on the tackle a couple of yards. Even when you get a straight up shot at him, he is very tough to bring down.
Well, he is hard to bring down. He's so big, he's so strong. This is a play that the outside linebacker's got to hold his ground. You see him?
That's
makes
Baker,
his move,
52.
comes outside. Baker does. He should make the play there. He's so strong. He's going to, after he gets hit, he's going to pick up 3 or 4 yards.
Mike Gooman checks into the lineup, number 44. Second down, 6. Good fake and a good hit by the linebacker, Freddie Joe Nunn. The first sack of the day of Bartkowski. I thought the fake was pretty good, but it didn't stop Freddie Joe. He was their #1 pick a year ago here in St. Louis.
Well, I think he's another one of those young guys that they've got to bring along. He's very important as one of the linebackers. He's very big, he's very aggressive, and probably as good a pass rusher as they have in the linebacking corps. Brought him down one-on-one.
And it is 3rd down and 18 coming up as a result. Al Baker checks in. Dennis Thurman, Carl Carter on defense. Michael Young out of UCLA comes to the left for the Rams. 3rd and long. They run it to Dickerson. And he's way short of a first down on 3rd down. You talk about conservative.
Well, I think John Robinson's going to hold it a little bit close to the vest.
Maybe he thinks the Cardinals can't score against his team.
I don't think so. I think they're in a pretty good position. I feel like he has a lot of respect for their offense. It was their defense that was suspect all last year. I think that what he wanted to do is 3rd down and 18. Percentages aren't in your favor that you're going to convert it. So run it out a little bit. Give Hatcher a chance to put the ball down the field. He's the best punter in football. He'll
get it down to Sikahema, who's inside his 35. He's kicked twice, 50 yards. He told me once he kicked the ball 54 yards, and Robinson said, hey, take it down a little bit. Don't kick it quite so far. He didn't hang this one up, and it's going to be returned by Sikahema. Very good coverage downfield and a good tackle by Mickey Sutton. Boy, he was terrific. He fought off the block, and Sutton made the tackle. And the Cardinals are at their 32-yard line. Score here, 6-0 Rams. 1-yard touchdown run by Dickerson. We had a flag down, and they're calling this one back. And the Rams had a man illegally downfield, so they're going to kick it over this time. Well, what happened last year in 1985 in the NFC West?
Well, you know, the Rams won that division 11-5, obviously. Got beat by the Bears in the title game. San Francisco.
Beat Dallas before that.
Yep. San Francisco 10-6. It's really almost a 2-team race, everybody thinks. But I think New Orleans still is a question mark. They're not quite sure how good Bobby Hebert is going to be. Atlanta with Archer at quarterback, they're leading New Orleans in the opener. Everybody thinks Atlanta's going to be a much better football team. I happen to agree.
I still think it's a 2-team race myself for those two.
I tend to agree with you. I really do. But it's too early to tell.
Okay, Sikahema is now at his 40 as Hatcher will touch it off. He's ready to hit a rainbow here after the rainy morning. 7:19 left in the half. 6-0 Rams.
Everybody's pointing out who they're going to block.
Yeah,
Cardinals may be coming after them.
How much time do they have? They're going to take a penalty here. They're going to take a 5-yard penalty.
Yep, they were coming after him anyway.
They blew the whistle in another 5 yards. So no matter how far he kicks it, St. Louis is going to be in pretty good shape. There's John Robinson. They'll work on that this week, won't they? No matter what the defensive alignment is, there comes a time when you have to snap the ball.
Yeah, you do. But what happens is the Cardinals may have lined up in a little bit of a different alignment than the offensive linemen we're used to.
Offense. 4th down.
So what happens is they have to be conscious of who they're going to block to give him protection. You don't want to give up a block punt back down this way. If you do, you wind up with a safety or a touchdown. So they want it. So what? So they take 5 yards. Hatcher will make it up on the other end, they figure.
Now Hatcher is going to be touching it off from just outside the goal line. Jim Laughlin is snapping the ball.
I think they're going to come after him again.
They look like it. They got 20 people up there. Low snap by Laughlin and a bad kick by Hatcher. They let it down. It's touched by the Rams, and the Cardinals get it. Now, did the Cardinals touch it? No, the officials said. Now they're going to talk it over. They say, did anybody see him touch a Cardinal? No. Now, the Rams insist that it touched one of the Cardinals and then was recovered by the Rams, in which case it would be their ball. But the officials are having none of it. There's the referee, McAway, saying, let's get it squared away.
Receiver's ball. Man was forced into the kicker.
Okay, thank you. It's nice when they can tell you he was forced into the kicker.
Well, he was forced into the kicker, but the question that everybody's asking
Did he
is,
touch the ball?
Did the ball hit a Cardinal? If it hit a Cardinal, he'll see it. Hatcher gets, now what happens is the ball's going down the field. Well, we lose it right there. There we go.
Well, here it is.
Right on the left side of your screen, you see it come down.
I thought it hit that Cardinal and then was recovered by the Rams, but they put it at the Los Angeles 41. St. Louis first down. 7:11 left in the half. 6-0 Los Angeles. Stump Mitchell. Good play by Irvin. $13 yards from Mitchell. And a good tackle by Irvin, who fought off the blocker and made the stop.
Tilly was out there on him. He did a great job.
And Doug Dawson, the left guard of the Cardinals, is injured, and we have a clip against St. Louis. Well, all sorts of things are happening. Dawson is injured, and a clip against St. Louis negates the run and will bring about a penalty.
Clipping, number 61, offense, still first down.
The call against Lance Smith. We have a timeout with 6:58 left in the half because of the injury to Doug Dawson, the left guard. Derek Kennard will play for him. Doug Dawson is being helped off the field. We have 6:58 remaining in the half. 6-0 Rams. First and 11 confronting St. Louis.
The Cardinals just can't afford to get a lot of people hurt. They've got Green gimped a little bit. Tilly didn't practice much during the week. Now Doug Dawson is hurt.
He was hurt during the preseason.
He was hurt during the preseason. It's not a situation that they really can't afford to get themselves into. Not in the early start of the season.
He is hurting, isn't he?
Yes, he really is.
Derek Kennard is in there. He's a rookie out of Nevada, Reno. He's from Stockton, California. First and 11. Roy Green's in the lineup. And what a good try. Out of bounds. Out of bounds. Lomax ends up down, and a good try by Stump Mitchell, but he ended up out of bounds. Down around the 20, and it's incomplete. That's trying, isn't it, Joe?
It sure is. This is outstanding effort. He catches the back end of the football right there. Now, I'm not so sure.
I thought he was inbound.
Well, his knee hits.
And the other one's out.
And the other one's out.
Were right.
Good call. Good call.
Hard to call those things.
Haven't had to use that instant replay
no
stuff
inquiries.
here, have we? No inquiries.
6.5 left in the half. 2nd and 11. Roy Green in the lineup for St. Louis to the right. He's being covered by Jerry Gray. And the running play, and look at that for defense. That was Gary Jeter again. They have trouble stopping him. What a comeback he made a year ago. Former Giant player. It's 3rd down. What makes him so tough to stop, or is it obvious?
Well, it's obvious. He's so big, and he's really learned to play the run. When he first came up with the Giants, he was considered a pass rusher. Now he's become a complete defensive football player, and he plays that right defensive end as well as anybody.
It is 3rd down. 3rd down and 14. Johnny Johnson, Mickey Sutton are in the defensive alignment for the Rams. He airs it out for Roy Green. Couldn't get by his man. No flag. He is hot. He is hot. Johnny Johnson really doing tricks on him. And Roy Green is pleading his case. Let's see.
Well, we get a chance to see it here. There he goes, one-on-one on Johnny Johnson. He makes the move. Now, there's a 5-yard rule in the National Football League as far as hits go. Sometimes the referees consider Johnny Johnson holding his ground.
Yeah, he just stuck his hand out there, but sometimes that's enough to throw you off your route.
It definitely is, but the offensive guy has got to make an effort to avoid the defensive guy as well. So that might have been one of the cases where that was interpreted that way.
Arapastathis is in punting. And Mickey Sutton is deep along with Johnny Johnson at the 10. 5:40 left in the half. This is why I think those calls have been so conservative from Johnny Robinson. I don't think he believes that St. Louis can burn him. Tries for the out of bounds, and he got it again. I'm going to take him to Vegas with me, man. I'm going to take him to Vegas with me the way he's kicking. The ball's on the 2-yard line again.
You get him inside the 50, he's just been nailing that corner.
He's rolling snake eyes. That's twice he's done that. How about the Redskins, who are ahead of Philadelphia? Touchdown pass by Schrader, by the way, to Kelvin Bryant.
Kelvin Bryant, you know, everybody talked about Herschel Walker coming out of the USFL, but if you talk to a lot of people that have seen both backs play, they feel like Kelvin Bryant is probably a more versatile back than even Herschel Walker. So I'm not surprised by the fact that Jay did a great job of getting a touchdown to him. I'm also not surprised that Kelvin Bryant scored.
5.5 left in the half. Dickerson to the 5. Dickerson has the only points of the game, and he just came from the 2 to the 5. The clock runs. What do you think of this Ram offense to this point?
I think they've been erratic, to be perfectly honest.
Bartkowski was cold at the outset.
In the beginning, Bartkowski, you know, they came out and said, look, we want to throw the football. They showed us that. They weren't very successful. They've gone back to what they do well now. That's run the football.
2nd down and 7. 2 tight ends, Hunter and Hill. Noga stopped him, but not completely as he came across the 10. It's 3rd and short. Rams are happy to have Doug Smith back. There's Dick Corey on the headset sending in the plays. Doug Smith, with that head injury, missed a lot of games for the Rams last year, but he's back in there to anchor the line.
3rd and 1 at the 11.
Duval Love is in there now at offensive line spot. Ron Brown, the wide receiver, goes out.
I get a measurement here just to see how far they have to go.
Weren't those innocent-looking plays by Dickerson? And here they're measuring. 2 plays and the game's 9
He
plus.
runs up inside. You know, they got, 4 of the 5 guys up front have been to the Pro Bowl. They're proven that they can get the job done. They're as big as mountains. Now he's got about a foot to go for a first down. It looks like he stopped, and you wind up with 9.5 yards.
What has Dickerson done so far?
16 carries, 78 yards. We've got 4 minutes and 36
and he's
seconds.
killed
going
the
to half.
Cardinals previously, as these figures show. John Robinson. He has some input with regard to what play is being called here. Not all the time, but in critical spots. 3rd down and less than a yard. Dickerson had that good surge. Looks like he got it. Looked like he got it by about a half a yard. That'll be a first down for the Rams. Allow them to keep the ball with the clock running. 4:10 left in the half. Dickerson, you must remember, for those of you who aren't too familiar with him, weighs 218.
At his best camp, they feel also. Worked out a lot during the offseason at the Ram camp, and they just feel like he's stronger and better. John Robinson thinks his career is still on the way up as far as getting better.
I don't think they'll do any gambling here, do you? No. Dickerson, he didn't have a very good hold on the ball, and he was taken back very well by Mark Duda and Gary Doolin.
Dickerson, the ball carrier.
Cardinals are playing without David Galloway, who is without a doubt their best defensive lineman. They moved him from from a tackle spot to the nose guard spot, and they're going to miss him today. And Duda is playing that position, number 73.
He was a little bit questionable for this game as well. He had a pulled groin. Coach Stallings was really concerned about the health of his people up front, but the linebackers are happy to have him up there clogging up the middle.
2nd down and 9. Bubba Baker is in there for St. Louis. Motion by Hill. Here come the Red. Look at their back come racing up there. Boy, Leonard Smith really went to work, number 45.
Well, you're getting safety support. The Rams are going to run the football, so the Cardinals have said, okay, we're going to get our secondary people in a support pattern. They're going to almost force the Rams to throw the football. It's 3rd down and 7, 3rd down and 8 here. I wouldn't be surprised if they try and go to the backfield. Somewhat of a conservative pass play, I would say, is coming up.
We get word that Doug Dawson, the offensive lineman of the Cardinals, has a bad ankle, and he's undoubtedly out for the rest of the day. Third down and 8. From the 15, they stay on the ground.
That's conservative.
I'll say. Nico Noga and Leonard Smith on the tackle again, 57 and 45. We're down. We're going to come to the 2-minute mark before we have any more snaps of the ball, and the Rams are sitting on a 6-0 lead. Scored a touchdown, missed on the extra point. 2 minutes left in the half. We'll see what kind of a kick we get from Dale Hatcher this time to Vi Sikahema. Two minutes left in the half, so the officials huddled up a while ago to talk about the rules which apply during the last 2 minutes of the half or of the game, the number of timeouts each team has.
Everybody has to have a huddle, you know, trading futures, you know, corn, wheat.
6-0 Rams. Hatcher will get it away from about his 5 to Sikahema, who's near midfield. High, short, good coverage, fair catch near midfield, and Sikahema took it at the Cardinal 49. Coming up at halftime, Brent and Herb are joined by new NFL Today contributor Will McDonough. He knows his stuff. He knows a lot of people around the world of football. Scores and highlights from the league. A look ahead at the U.S. Open men's final between Michir and Ivan Lendl.
I'm going to get you to say his first name.
Oh, it's easy.
Okay.
Miroslav Merchir.
Okay. I'll take a shot at
Ivan Lendl. Cardinals at the 48.
It's a very important series for the Cardinals. They've got to get some points on the board before the end of half.
They have 3 timeouts remaining, and the Rams have 2. It was there to Tilley. He got both feet down with a cute move. Boy, it was really good with that second foot.
Oh, he's a master at sideline patterns. He has great hands, great body control. Here you'll see him bring his feet right down inside Jerry Gray. They're working a little bit on Jerry Gray. 1, 2, out.
18-yard pickup.
Yeah, he's played a lot of years of football. He's not real big, but against a zone defensive football team like the Rams are, a man like Pat Tilley comes into great significance.
And he stopped the clock at 1:48. Ball at the Ram 34. And a flag goes down. Looks like a holding call. That would be my guess, folks. Yep, holding against St. Louis, even though the pass was caught complete. And he might have been looking Louis Sharp, number 67. That's a guess. Well, that hurts St. Louis.
Holding number 32.
Well, they call it against
Still
OJ.
first down.
Well, you see, he's a halfback.
Yeah, and as big as he is, he's not that good a blocker.
Well, I know, but you know, he's not asked to block a lot. Stump Mitchell's the guy, or Farrell's the guy in the backfield that really does a lot of the blocking. They put Stump back in the ball game now and take Otis out, give him a little bit of a break, explain to him, now listen, you know, you got to keep your hands in. You can't hold anybody. Good effort, but we can't have that happen.
1st and 20 at the Los Angeles 44. 1:43 left in the half. Shotgun formation. Screen pass. Oh, he really zinged it to Mitchell. Got a block. Another. So it's going to be about 7 or 8 yards to go for first down as Gary Jeter made the tackle. Did Lomax drill that ball at him?
I think he had to. He got it under Jeter's arm just to get it to him.
That was good for 12 yards. Hurry up offense to the Ram 33. 2nd down, 8. Now it's going to be 3rd down and about 2.5. Newsom and Johnson made the tackle.
Timeout by the Cardinals.
Earl Farrell, the fullback, caught the ball, and the Cardinals used their first timeout. They have 2 left, and it stops the clock with 1:07 left in the half. Farrell's pretty good at catching the ball.
He is a good guy out of the backfield. You know, Neil Lomax has done a nice job handling this offense. It's a bit new for him, a change over in coaching. You always get new terminology, and it's something you have to get used to. This is an area also that Lomax has got to get his confidence back. Last year, there were great expectations for the Cardinals. It didn't pan out. As the season went on, it became more disastrous for him. Also, personally, for Neil Lomax. If they can put some points on the board, they're going to feel really good about themselves through this first half.
And so we have some scores of other games for you. And Houston leads Green Bay at the half, 14-3. You and I saw Houston last week, thought they were going to be pretty good. Detroit's ahead, 7-3, second quarter at Minnesota. And Washington hangs on to a 10-7 lead over the Eagles. Second quarter. And it's that has changed now. It's 14-3 in the second quarter as Morton Anderson puts New Orleans on the board. And here we have 1:07 left in the half.
You know, talking about Houston.
What kind of a call here, Joe?
Well, I think
3 yards to go.
Try and hit it back out of the backfield. You know, you're on this hash mark, so you'll probably work to the top half of the field as you see him coming out of the huddle. You know it's a pass play because the quarterback always takes a little bit more time. I don't really feel like they're going to run the football. I could be wrong.
Now, there was a time when Lomax would be a running threat in a spot like this, but not today. Motion by J.T. Smith and a running play to Farrell, and he got a first down, but there's a flag. And if it's in that spot, it's probably holding. It's probably holding. That really hurts the St. Louis cause, doesn't it?
It certainly does. I thought they were actually going to throw the football.
Number 61.
This time it's Lance Smith, the offensive tackle, number 61. So he's been called for a clip and a hold, and Stallings is exercising his lungs. Roy Green checks in. They mark the ball at the Ram 37.
If they can pick up about 8 or 9 yards on this play, we could get a look at John Lee, the young field goal.
You know, he's thinking that.
Yeah.
It is 3rd down and 13. 1:03 left in the half. Both holding calls really burned St. Louis. Oh, Roy Green. Now there's why J.T. Smith. I thought it was Green because he didn't get his hands up in the air. He should have caught that ball.
He absolutely should have. Lomax did a nice job of putting the ball right where it belongs, led the receiver over the middle. You want to make sure that the ball is out in front of the guy. Here you'll see Lomax sit. You'll see J.T. come around behind Nolan Cromwell. Excellent throw right through. Nobody's more disappointed than he is, believe me.
So they're going to punt with Arapastathis or fake it, but I doubt it. It's 6-0. Mickey Sutton is back as a deep man with Johnny Johnson. This is the 5th punt of the day. He tries for the sideline, drives it out of bounds inside the 20 at the 12-yard line. Now we'll see how the Rams have been playing it. The way they've been calling it. The way the Rams have been calling it so far, they'll probably just sit on it. You were talking about Warren Moon?
I was. We had a chance to see him last week. He had a real tough year and a transition year last year. I happen to think that he could well be one of the best quarterbacks in football this year. He seems to have much more confidence. He feels very comfortable that the Houston Oilers have a running game to take some of the pressure off him as a quarterback and a passer. Houston's probably going to be a big surprise in that division.
2 tight ends for the Rams. Hunter and Hill. Toss to Dickerson, wants to stay in bounds, cuts it back. He's to the 15. I don't think either team is anxious to stop the clock.
No, if they could have thrown him for a loss, St. Louis may have to get a chance to move it down. But I think they're going to let him out. Oh, they are going to stop.
Well, they have St. Louis has 1 timeout left. They kind of think they can stop the Rams. We'll see about that.
If they stop him here, 1 or 2 yard gain, it comes up 3rd down and 5, 3rd down and 6. You know the Rams are going to run on 3rd down. They won't be able to use it, but they'll have enough time to maybe put some pressure on Hatcher and block a kick. That's what I think Stallings is thinking.
Dickerson's carried 20 times already. I didn't have that impression. 84 yards.
Well, you know, early they started out throwing the football. I think both of us felt like, well, this is the way the Rams want to do it. They want to establish a passing game. But it didn't take John Robinson long to decide to go with his meat and potatoes football, and that's give the ball to Eric Dickerson. Let the big guys up front block people.
We had a scoreless first quarter, and Dickerson scored with 11 minutes left in the half. There's Gene Stallings talking to Lomax about this and that. Well, that ball by J.T. Smith should have been caught.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing you have to make conversions like that. I think the Cardinals will make conversions like that. No excuse. I'm sure JT's the first one to tell you there's no excuse for it. It's one of those you wish you had.
Everybody expected the Rams to win this game, didn't they?
I think most people did. I don't think people expected the Cardinals to play quite as well as they have. So it's been a good football game, a tough football game.
2 tight ends. 2nd down and 7 for the Rams. Oh, fumble. A flag goes down. The ball belongs to St. Louis. Now let's check the flag. Ball at the 15-yard line. Noga came away with a football.
Legal motion, offense.
That's the penalty. Decline. Fumble. Okay.
I don't think Bartkowski ever really gets this ball. He starts away. It slips away from him. The ball seems like it's been sliding away all the time. There goes Noga. And he goes, even with the ball out, pulls it right. You need somebody big and strong in one of those pile-ups to hold it. I've been in a lot of them. These big guys come in, they just tear the ball right away from you.
There's a lot of scrambling going on there. St. Louis has 1 timeout left, and they have a first down at the 15-yard line of Los Angeles. What do?
Well, what they're going to try and do is, obviously, they're going to try and get 7 points, but they're not going to make any stupid throws, put the ball in the middle of the field, I think, without being sure that it's going to be an incompletion if it's not a touchdown.
Do you like a draw play here? Stump Mitchell's in the backfield. They take the draw, and they screen it to the right to Farrell, and he gets about 6, and the clock runs.
Tried to get out of bounds, couldn't quite get there. Now they got to hurry up offense, get to the line of scrimmage.
Carl Erkin made the tackle. They got to save a timeout to get the field goal unit on the team.
That's right, or else throw it out of bounds. But right now, you have plenty of time. You don't want to use your timeout.
The ball is at the 9. He throws it out of bounds, incomplete. Stops the clock with 11 seconds left in the half. Now they can take 1 pop into the end zone and still have time. They'll either get a touchdown or the clock will stop, and then get the field goal unit out there.
That's exactly right. They still have the timeout. It's sort of like having something in the bank. You know you have one there if in the event you do want to run the play. I don't think Stallings wants to run the play here. I feel pretty confident he wants to try and get the ball in the points. If they can come out 7-7, he'd be very satisfied.
7-6.
7-6, that's right.
Roy Green checks in. Pat Tilley comes out. Or Pat Tilley replaces Smith now.
Jim Shopman calls the plays for the Cardinals.
Ball's at the Ram 10, and it's 3rd and 5. They got to get into the end zone with us. Can't afford to keep it on the field of play. And it is incomplete. He tried to clear Tilley out, and the linebacker got a hand on it, Mike Wilcher. So here's the first professional try for the kid who set all of the records at UCLA, John Lee. He'll try to make it a 6-3 game. We have 7 seconds left in the half.
The kicking game of the Cardinals, John Lee has struggled the latter part of preseason.
Oh, yeah, he missed 4 out of his last 5.
Well,
he made 7 out of 11.
They went through a new holder, a new snapper. The kicking game of the Cardinals is basically an all-new look. Ken Austin's going to hold. John Lee's going to kick. The snapper is new. Everybody out there is new.
DiBernardo is snapping the ball. 27-yard try. Got it down well. It's good. Well, the fumble cost the Rams 3 points. As John Lee makes good on his first try, and John Robinson doesn't like the way his team gave up 3 points. We have 4 seconds left in the half.
I don't think he's satisfied with the fact that they gave up any points. They shouldn't have. They were backed up in their own end. The miscue with the exchange with Bartkowski caused it. It's a football game. They've got a ball game back, 4 seconds to go. He'll probably kick the ball low and on the ground to make sure the Rams don't have an opportunity to return it. And then we'll go into halftime 6-3 Rams.
The Cardinals needed a kicker so badly. By the way, John Robinson doesn't mind talking to those officials and letting them know what he thinks.
Well, it's a little bit like basketball. You've got to work the officials a little bit.
John's in a good mood for about 5 seconds. The Cardinals needed a kicker so badly that they picked Lee on the 2nd round, and they certainly hope that he is their answer.
Now, he has said anything inside the 40-yard line he should and will make.
Rams are happy with their kicker.
Oh, Lansford's just done a marvelous job for them. Their whole kicking game is the Rams. That's why their special teams were #1 last year.
Charles White is deepest for the Rams, along with Ron Brown, but they'll just squib the ball here probably. Now the clock doesn't start until the ball's touched. It's touched. It starts. The half is over. And we have a 6-3 score. Rob Carpenter is the one, a newcomer for the Rams. Rob Carpenter is the one who came away with the ball. Cardinals went 4 plays, got that 28-yard field goal after recovering the Bartkowski fumble. We had a scoreless first quarter, and now the Rams lead 6-3 at the half, and the weather's getting better. CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Toyota, who offers a full line of 1986 cars and trucks. More dependability, more quality, more satisfied owners. Who could ask for anything more? At Federal Express, why fool around with anyone else? And by Castrol, the motor oil engineered for today's smaller cars.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Miller High Life Beer. Miller made the American way since 1855. United Airlines, you're not just flying, you're flying the friendly skies. And by STP Corporation. On the world's racetracks, on the world's roads, STP, your car care company.
There's our score at the half. The Rams with a touchdown, the Cardinals with a field goal. The Cardinals will receive the second half kickoff, and both teams are on the field right at the moment. Are you enjoying this up here?
I'm enjoying it. It's a little dangerous down there, but I'm enjoying this up here.
Wait till he finds out how good he feels on Monday morning.
I'm not sore. It's the first half, and I'm not sore.
And he promised me that he wouldn't tell you how easy it is up here. It's been a fun game for a low-scoring game.
It has been a fun football game. A little bit unexpected. Everybody sort of felt like the Rams were going to go out and dominate it a little bit more. The Cardinals were a big question mark. I really feel like they're answering some of those questions now.
Both teams are playing it close to the vest, and the Cardinals kind of think they can stay with them according to the play calling, and I kind of think that the Rams still feel that the Cardinals can't score against them.
It hasn't been the Cardinals' ability to score or move the football. It's been the Rams' miscues that have given the Cardinals good field position.
Including the 2 bad snaps. They determined this weekend that Laughlin was going to do the snapping, and then they went to Doug Smith, their center, but after he missed snap 2, why, then they went back to Laughlin, although Joe doesn't think the snaps were that bad.
I don't think the snap has been the problem. I
really feel like
I feel like the ball, it's high, I'll grant that. Here comes the snap. But it is handleable.
Hit him in the head.
Well, I know, but that's where you're supposed to aim, somewhere at the head, the chest. Now, this is where it gets exciting, especially Lansford in bare feet. Watch the toe.
So that cost the Rams 3 points.
That cost them 3 points.
And this cost them a point. Now watch this one. You think this is good?
It's I wouldn't say good, but I wouldn't say necessarily really bad. This one's a little bit higher, but I still think it can be handled.
Yeah. Okay.
See, it goes right through his hands. As long as he can get his hands on it,
you're the
it should
expert.
be
Okay, all right.
He comes back, his hand's a little bit cold, and slips right through.
You used to hold, right?
I used to for a lot of years.
I'll take Joe's word for it. You want to watch the touchdown run? And good blocking by Barry Redden and a good lead block by Hara, although he didn't have to do much.
Yeah, Hara's just an insurance policy.
But he shows how quickly he can get out.
Well, Tony Hunter starts in motion, comes back. Hunter's going to kick out on the safety, makes the turn. Redden's going to lead the way. And really, Dickerson goes in like standing up, I guess you could say.
And then the field goal by John Lee, and we have our 6-3 score. We'll check some of the stats. 2 turnovers for the Rams really hurt, but look at the rushing yards. Dickerson versus the Cardinals. Passing yards, the Cardinals have the better of it after Bartkowski misfired at the beginning, but he set up the touchdown with the good pass to Tony Hunter, good for 42 yards.
I don't think the statistics are misleading to anybody. Everybody sort of expected the Rams to run the football, although they've talked about a passing game. I still feel like they're going to have to make it as a football
Passing?
Passing, really, Bartkowski's been off to a terrible start. I mean, you can't sugarcoat it. That's the way it's been. The percentages, Lomax comes out. He's throwing the ball, I think, fairly well. But rushing-wise, they're not doing the things they did in the preseason. I think that's got to be a bit of a concern to John Robinson and Dick Corey.
Okay, here's a kickoff by Lansford. Stump Mitchell and Vi Sekahema are the deep men. This will be a return by Mitchell. It can be an exciting return man. He's to the 20. Lansford couldn't. What a big return. to the Ram 36. And as we said before, that doesn't happen in Los Angeles very often. Mickey Sutton caught the play. 54-yard return.
But Stump Mitchell is such an exciting return man. Like I said, he's Mr. Versatility. Here you'll see he gets the alley. He does not have to make a lot of cuts. The Ram guys get out. Look at the move he puts on Lansford. Well, he's not supposed to make a tackle anyway. Here he does a great job of getting downfield, following his blocking. Cromwell keeps him until Sutton can catch him.
Well, Lansford will live to kick again.
Yes.
The return of 54 yards by Mitchell. Anderson and Farrell with Lomax. Pretty good surge by the middle of that line. Pretty good surge.
A big return like that gets you excited, especially coming out right at the end of a half. You know, you're playing good football, you're in the football game, you get the big return, bang, you get down the field, you're running it, saying, hey, we can be physical too.
You know, when a guy like Farrell gets the ball, he doesn't have any lead back blocking for him. He counts on Clark and Kennard and Boston.
Everybody up front to make the hole for him.
2nd down and 5. Rams 31. Bit of a delay to O.J. and a big quick hit by Carl Eckern. He came up very quickly.
He filled the hole. I think that's a delay. It's a little bit of a delay pattern. It's an opportunity for the lineman to get out in front. Here you'll see Lomax spin to his left. The guards are pulling around. Here comes Anderson into the hole. It gives the opportunity.
Kennard missed Eckern.
That's right. Eckern standing right there. O.J. has nowhere to go but to the ground.
Eckern is the defensive captain of the Rams. They put in Johnny Johnson, and they take Eckern out. They put in Jeter. They put in Doug Reed. 3rd and 4. Rams are blitzing. Oh, Anderson off his fingertips, and a flag is down. What happened out there?
A little bit of motion in the offensive line. Yeah, the left tackle, Louis Sharp, was just rocking back just a little bit before the snap
I think
of the ball.
Rams will decline the penalty. That'll make a 4th down. His mic is gone.
67
There it is.
offense, decline, 4th down.
That's Louis Sharp,
Illegal motion,
and it's
67
declined, and they're going to try with
Penalty
Lee. Now, this will be a long one to try to tie the game. The line of scrimmage is just outside the 30, so this can be about a 47-yard try by John Lee, the young man who was born in Korea. Cardinals have a player from Korea, Tonga, and American Samoa. Rick DiBernardo will snap the ball, and Kent Austin will hold it. Now, he's a quarterback, so it might be a trick play.
He is a quarterback, but he also, this is his first experience holding in the National Football League.
47-yard try. Good snap. Good set. And no good. Didn't get it there. That's why the Rams declined the penalty. He's made that distance before, but with a kicking tee. Not this time. The 5th Rams starter at quarterback in the last 6 years, and the 15th in their last 20 years, Joe Theismann.
One position they've not had a lot of stability in. It seems like they've gone to the playoffs. They've won a lot of playoff games. Bartkowski, somewhat online. I feel like Steve wants to come out and play. He wants to be the Rams quarterback. He's delighted to be there, appreciative of the opportunity to play the position again after all those 11 years in Atlanta, out of football for a little while. He feels healthier. He's with a contending team. He wants to go out and do well. I happen to think he came out very nervous in the beginning of this football game.
Peter Brock would be available the 3rd week of the season. The Rams are at their 31, leading by 3. Dickerson and Redden in the backfield. 1st down pass play. Out here to Redden and underthrown. Low and away and incomplete. Not much of a touch there.
No, he's really struggling. I got to be honest with you. And I'm not sure whether it's the ball. A lot of times when the football sits on the turf, only a person who's handled it like a quarterback can appreciate it. Your thumb is in a wet spot. And when you get a dry spot and a wet spot on the football, it makes it it's like throwing a spitter in baseball. It's going to dance on you, and you really don't know where it's going to go. And that's what seems to be happening with him today.
2nd down and 10. Duckworth is to the left. Brown is to the right. Brown scored a touchdown in the previous Ram game here in St. Louis. A fake draw to Redden, and the pass ran and dropped. Dropped by the tight end, David Hill. Even though all the Cardinals were around there, it was still in his hands. Hill, by the way, came in 20 pounds lighter this year.
Yeah, he's looked forward to this year. He realizes how important this game is. Don't forget, the Rams are starting on the road. 3 out of 4 of their first games are on the road. It's important that they get started and win. They feel pretty good about playing at home, but they need it on the road.
Well, John Robinson, good-natured about it. He'll catch the next one. Michael Young comes in. 3rd down and 10 from the 31. And he starts Young in motion. And that one is caught for a first down. Caught for a first down by Ron Brown. You have to give him a lot of room because he can run by you, as everybody knows. I used to describe him as the fastest man in football, but it turned out he isn't.
No, it's not. There's a little guy who plays cornerback for the Washington Redskins. They had a contest somewhere out in Palm Springs or somewhere in California, and Darryl Green turned out to be the fastest man in football.
First down.
I still wouldn't mind having that one run for me, though.
That was a good 3rd down throw, by the way, by Bartkowski. The lay to Dickerson. And, of course, they're keying on him, and despite the heavy coverage, he gets a few yards, and Freddie Joe Nunn and Mark Duda tackled him. 4-yard gain.
That last pass completion has just got to make Bartkowski feel a little bit more comfortable. He'll drop the one. He miscued the first one. He's got a big completion down the field. Now he can relax a little bit more.
Dickerson closing in on 100 yards. 2nd down and 7 here. From the Ram 47. Screen, and it's covered. And it's incomplete or fumble. Incomplete, folks. Big hit by Nico Noga, number 57.
Make him feel good, huh?
Charlie Baker in on the subsequent play.
Well, you know, the Cardinals they're in man-to-man coverage. You'll see on the right of your screen, Noga slides on out, moves out with the guard. Dickerson catches it just as he gets it. Bam!
He didn't even have a chance to get his hands down on the ball. And number 57.
So he has this monster roaming around in his body just waiting to come out.
They got him. They call him Loco Noga here. 3rd down 7. Let's see if Bartkowski can make it 2 3rd down completions in a row. Dennis Thurman is in the Cardinal backfield. Michael Young is the wide receiver for the Rams. And this ball is incomplete. Quite a try by Michael Young. The ball thrown a little bit behind him. Young caught 14 last year. There's Dennis Thurman. He came right in from Dallas off waivers and walked right in and started to call the defensive signals for the Cardinals because he was with Gene Stallings down in Texas.
We asked Gene yesterday and said, what about Dennis Thurman? He said, it's like having me out on the football field. He knows the defense so well. He's so much in control of what's going on in that deep secondary. Stallings feels so comfortable with Thurman. He feels very lucky to get him.
This is the 5th of the day for Dale Hatcher. He's going to hit a boomer here in one of these moments. Val Sikahema is back to get him. You start punting with the Rams, you're going to lose ground.
Yeah, you will.
Rams need a good snap, of course. Low, handled well by Hatcher. That's a mile high. Fair catch. You better, kid. And it's inside the 20-yard line. They just tell Hatcher, kick it high and kick it straight away. A 36-yard punt. That's all they wanted. Cardinals get the ball trailing by 3. Looks like we'll get through the day with no more rain. 6-3, the Rams lead. 3rd quarter, 12:09 left. Tampa Bay, Carter caught a touchdown pass. 14-7, 3rd quarter, San Francisco. 14-3, Atlanta in the 3rd quarter over New Orleans. And more after this Cardinal play from their 18-yard line. This is where the Rams are good. They get the good punt, the good coverage, good defense. And the next thing you know, they have you scrambling like this. And, incomplete. J.T. Smith, who's usually quite sure-handed, has blown a couple of them today.
He's just having a tough
And then he was whacked by Vince Newsom. A couple more scores for you. Steve Cox, a 55-yard field goal, and Washington leads 20-14 at the half. 55 yards, folks.
Well, he handles it. They're punting and also they're very long field goals.
And the Bears by 10 over Cleveland at the half. Well, and Houston by 14. Zendejas with a field goal. And a bad break for Lomax and for Smith. You've got to go at the Rams underneath, right?
Well, yeah, right in that medium area between the linebackers and the deep secondary.
He's throwing again. They delay it to Farrell, pretty well covered. And 3rd and long coming up. 5-yard pickup. As I see you now, if the Rams stop them again here, and then the Cardinals have to kick with a Rapastathis, then the Rams are looking right down your throat.
That's exactly right. They play the game of field position. That's why Dale Hatcher's position on the football team is so important. He's a great kicker, not a good kicker, a great kicker, and they're willing to trade punts with him.
Stump Mitchell checks in for the Cardinals. Roy Green's in the lineup for St. Louis. I'd like to throw to Mitchell in a spot like this. He's in the pattern. And a flag. He was knocked down by Tim Fox.
Flags all over.
Tim Fox tripped him. Now, whether it was intentional or not, I don't know, but it drew the flag.
Holding number 25 defense.
That's the first call, the holding call against Jerry Gray, and we also saw Fox knock down Mitchell, but
Holding 25 defense, 5 yards, automatic first down.
Automatic first down.
Sometimes a defensive guy is willing to take a guy down if he knows he's breaking inside and going to get a big gainer. They'll give up the first down. They'll give up the short yards. That's smart football, really. Here you see Lomax. See Mitchell coming on inside. Jerry Gray hasn't got him. No, it's Tim Fox.
There's Fox, yeah.
There's Fox.
But Gray was committing his foul elsewhere. First down for St. Louis. 11:20 left in the 3rd quarter. Now it's Tillian Green as the wide receivers. Marsh the tight end. Anderson is out. Mitchell's the tailback. Farrell carries. He's a big fullback. He weighs 225. And he got a few. Mark Giroux finished it off after Reggie Doss made the initial hit. That Doss, by the way, is an Iron Man. He hasn't missed a game since 1978.
Playing in the defensive line, that's a yeoman's chore. Those guys take a beating every play, every Sunday, and to line up like that and do it, you've got to be in great shape.
Gary Jeter is in his spot. 10:45 left in the quarter. Blitz is on. Somebody. Now, it looked rather indecisive, but somebody had him by the feet when he was arm pumping up
Mike
there.
Wilcher, who is really their designated rusher, comes from the outside right linebacker position and gets him right around the ankle, and he just has no place to. If you can't move your feet, you can't throw the football.
That's the 2nd sack of the quarterback. So Wilcher went right down on the deck. Last 5 years, the most sacked quarterbacks in the National Football League. Lomax followed.
Wait a second.
Hey, hold it.
Hold it.
Take
Where did that
off.
come from?
Take that off, quick.
Really? That many times? No wonder why I'm up here.
Jaworski, Dickey, and Bartkowski. Johnson and Sutton check in defensively for the Rams. It's 3rd down and 14. And it's tough to go long against these Rams. And it was tipped and intercepted by Jerry Gray. And he's hauled down from behind inside the 25-yard line. The ball was tipped.
That's just a tough break for Lomax.
And a good catch by Gray.
Excellent catch. See, Lomax is trying to go to the receiver, probably running an in pattern. He steps up into the pocket. Ball gets tipped. Nice catch.
Well,
Real nice
maybe
catch.
it wasn't tipped. Maybe it just came too grain.
No. It was tipped at the line of scrimmage.
Was it?
Yeah.
The ball is at the 21 of St. Louis.
St. Louis 21.
We're at Busch Stadium here in St. Louis. 10 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. 6-3 Rams, and they're looking good right now at the Cardinal 21. Here goes Dickerson. You can bet on that. Motion by Brown. Toss to Eric, and the tackler missed him. That was Leonard Smith. He was gambling. He guessed right, and he missed him.
He absolutely did. That's what's called a corner fire. That's the cornerback coming up on the outside. As soon as the ball is snapped, he's not in pass coverage. He's a rusher. Had a shot at him. That gives you an idea of the ability of Eric Dickerson.
And he's a good tackler.
Yes, he is. He's a very good tackler.
And as a result, the play was good for 5 yards. Leonard Smith is the strong safety.
This is a situation on the football field where we've seen Eric Dickerson work on throwing the pass.
Maybe.
And run up the middle.
There he goes. He's going wild, folks. And he made it easily, didn't he? A touchdown run by Eric Dickerson from 16 yards away. Lonnie Young and Wayne Smith had a crack at him. And now he's over 100 yards. 23 carries, 108 yards, and a 16-yard touchdown run. Made it look easy. Well, they made it 3rd and long on St. Louis. They intercepted when St. Louis tried to go deep. Boom, touchdown.
That's right. The turnovers will kill you, especially down in your own end. You know, you're going to give up at least 3, but with Dickerson back there, it looks like every time he gets his hand on the football, he's going to get 7.
Laughlin will snap the ball.
This has been an exciting thing for the Rams.
Yeah, good snap this time, and the extra point is good, and it is a 13-3 affair. 9:53 left here in the 3rd quarter. So the interception by Gray and the touchdown by Dickerson, his 2nd.
On the right of your screen, you're going to see Pankey and Hill do a little cross block with Red and Leadon on Charlie Baker, the outside linebacker, which gives Eric Dickerson the opportunity to get upfield and do his thing. There's the block down, kick out, turns on the linebacker. Noga does a nice job of getting away here. Bobby Duckworth does a good job to get him in the end zone, shielding Lonnie Smith.
Sikahema and Mitchell are now deep as Lansford will kick it off. There's Dickerson. He's over 100 yards. It's a nice cool day for a running back. Good kick taken by one of the up men. Looks like Farrell. He makes the most of it, doesn't he? Nolan Cromwell was the tackler. Earl Farrell was very decisive. He got it, and he said, here I go.
That's what you're supposed to do if you're an up back. You get the ball and head forward. You can't wait for any blocking because you're supposed to be the blocker for somebody deeper in the field. Get it up the field.
Later today, and after this Cardinal-Ram game, you'll watch the CBS coverage of the U.S. Open men's singles final. London Mature.
The Rams, 49.
The ball is at the Los Angeles 49. That's the kind of a lift the Cardinals needed, and the Rams could ill afford to give them.
Yes.
13-3 Los Angeles. Whoever scores next is really going to, well, the Cardinals score, they're in, and if the Rams score next, well, then watch out from then on.
You're right.
Tilly and Roy Green are the wide receivers. Well, they saw a lot of that here last year. He was sacked 61 times a year ago. That's the 3rd time today, and Mel Owens got him. Owens had 9 sacks last year.
You know, here's a look at the Rams secondary. You'll see Lomax is going to, on the left of your screen, he's going to make a little play action fake. He's trying to go to Tilly, but there's the rotation of the Rams zone. Everybody has a designated area.
Well, Tilly got open in the middle.
He's looking for Tilly in the middle, but
He's
normally
waving.
what happens, he's waving, but Lomax is already on the ground. That play there probably was caused more by the quarterback's indecision than any blocking up front. He's got to unload the football and stop taking losses.
That's what he didn't do last year, and they've been yelling at him in training camp. Throw the ball. 2nd and 21. Might see a screen or a draw here. They get him again. That's number 4. Sean Miller this trip, number 98. He had 5 sacks last year. They're coming pretty good, aren't they?
They really are. It's a tough thing. Watch,
it's a straight rush, too, isn't
You'll
it?
see him on the right of your screen. He just simply overpowers, makes a nice move on the guard. There he gets around it. Lomax, that one you can't get rid of.
A little head fake took care of the offensive tackle, Lance Smith.
Lance Smith.
Well, they better quick kick.
You get in this, yeah, right, like I did, 1 yard. You get in this situation. This is when you go to the sidelines. You know, you look to the sideline, you say, what do you want, coach? And the coach isn't looking at you.
Johnson and Sutton check in defensively. It's 3rd and 29. Looks like the Rams have things going their way now. They run it on a draw to Mitchell, and he stood up after a few, and the fans say, boo. That's pretty good tribute to the Rams that you're not going to burn them deep.
No, you're just not. You're not going to burn them deep. That's the philosophy of John Robbins. It's the philosophy of the defense. They're willing to play. The order is the defense has to play good zone defense. We'll run the football at you, and we'll bring our passing game along. That's what John Robinson feels.
Now, if the Cardinals get a bad punt, or if the Rams get a good punt return from Mickey Sutton, this game is really going to turn one side.
He's been a pleasant surprise for him.
Yeah, without Ellard. Well, it's a pretty good kick, but it's not well covered. So from the 20-yard line, Sutton comes to the 25 and then stops. Greg LaFleur downfield to make the tackle. We have a doubleheader next Sunday on CBS. Everybody will see the Philadelphia at Chicago game. Could it be better than that with Buddy Ryan head up against Mike Ditka? Some folks will see the Cardinals playing at Atlanta. And the Rams, of course, are at home, and they'll be playing their arch rival, the San Francisco 49ers.
That Philadelphia-Chicago game is one I think everybody's been waiting for, because everybody's curious to see what Buddy Ryan is going to say now.
The Rams start from their 28. There's no need for them to do anything but run. Run, block, and run. Now the Cardinals are starting to miss some tackles, and Charlie Baker finished that one off.
Charlie Baker comes around from the offside to make that tackle. It's just the Rams are starting to take control of the football game, and I think this is the one thing the Cardinals can't afford to let them do. If nothing else, they're going to have to continue to show effort, enthusiasm. I don't care what the score is. For them, this is a game of education and building momentum. They have to go. If they do that, good things may happen, and that's the attitude I think they have to take now.
It's the Rams by 10 with 7:20 left in the third quarter. Look at that offensive line. Are they big? Pankey, Hill, Smith, Dara, and Slater. And they played together so long. Here comes Redden. After Dickerson got 5, Redden got about 4. 3rd and 1. That will take us up to the 7-minute mark here. You know, you see a lot of empty seats here in this stadium. They're talking about building a new stadium here in St. Louis, but they can't fill this one.
Well, you know, they want to. I'll tell you something else, too, though, Jack. From a player standpoint, I think St. Louis is the only team in football that practices and plays on AstroTurf through the entire season. Other teams have it. The Giants have it. Detroit, people like that have AstroTurf, but they practice on grass fields. Running around on AstroTurf takes a toll on your body.
They're measuring. It's going to be short by the length of the football. And it'll be 3rd down play coming up.
There's that wet spot I was talking about. Remember I was talking about the quarterback having
That's just enough, right?
That's just enough, right about where your thumb gets, so it just slides off. Now, there we go. See, the referee almost lost it.
6:51 left in the third quarter. 2 tight ends, Hill and Hunter. Only 41,000 here today. The Rams are just going to keep the ball now. The Cardinals are going to have a tough time getting it from them. Dickerson is over 100 yards today. He's at 113. 3rd down and 1. Watch the surge at the center, Doug Smith. Got a man head up on him. That's Duda. They go wide, and he hurdles for a 1st down and out of bounds. Well, they tricked him that time. Wayne Smith, the little cornerback, had to make the tackle. There's John Robinson. Things are the way he likes it right now.
Yeah, Coach Robinson, we asked him yesterday, is there any area that you want to coach? He says, no, the most important thing I have to do is create the environment for my football team. I want to create an environment. I want to give them the best possible environment to work in, and then let my coaches do the coaching.
And he said last year our scheme was conservative, and it got us to the playoffs, and it got us to the finals, but it didn't get us to the Super Bowl, so we're changing it. We are enlarging it a bit here. Ball at the 43. 1st down pass. Home run. Foul ball. They drew a flag, and we shall see.
The discussion could
Ron
be
Brown and Lionel Washington. Now, did he impede him or not? And could he have caught it? That's another question. I don't think he could have caught it anyhow. They may change it because he could not have caught it.
Defensive pass interference, number 45.
Okay, they call Leonard Smith. It wasn't Lionel Washington. Here we go.
Here he gets by, actually, the double coverage. You'll see him start downfield. Now, that ball's up. Now, Ron Brown is running as hard as he can run.
Oh, he ran right into Leonard
There's
Smith.
absolutely no way he can get to that football. That is the toughest call. To me, I think they put a lot of pressure on the back judge to make that decision as far as whether the ball is catchable or not. I have to agree with the Cardinals' arguments. That ball was not catchable.
Yeah, now we had a game like that with Dallas and San Francisco where the defensive man got in front of the receiver. You don't have to let him sail down the sideline.
We were involved in a call like that, San Francisco 49ers versus the Redskins, a championship game.
In any event, the ball is at the St. Louis 20. And if you're still worried about the call, that play's dead. That play's dead, folks. It's dead. It's going to come back. Don't worry about it. It's dead. It's dead, dead, dead. Couldn't be deader. Is he happy?
Well, Smith says, you want the football, go get it.
Here's Mr. Stallings. The play was down. There's no doubt about it. But I was saying, if you're worried about the previous call, this is when this guy really gets after you.
He sure does. You know, they throw a little bit, but they'll run Eric Dickerson at you. His knee hits the ground. He gets hit. The ball rolls out. He's obviously on the ground.
The ball is at the 16.
He's dead. The ball's dead.
Second down coming up in 5.
Only problem with that is it takes a long time for Leonard to get back to the huddle.
Rams leading 13-3 and about to nail him again. Good yards by Dickerson again. Charlie Baker, Wayne Smith, Freddie Joe Nunn all in on the tackle. Dickerson piling him up. He's done this before against St. Louis. St. Louis woefully weak along the front line, and particularly today without David Galloway. And then you combine that with this line, and now you've got a good combination for Los Angeles.
Yeoman's effort of a day's work, I'll tell you that.
How'd you like to feed these guys?
No way.
Third down and 2. 2 tight ends plus Duval Love as a third tight end. He's on a wing. Dickerson, first down. First and goal from the 5-yard line. And making it look easy now as Dennis Thurman was the tackler, number 23. They marked the ball at the 5. More often than not, Dickerson will gain 100 yards in a game. 58% of every game he's played in the pros, he's gained 100 yards or more, and right now he's up to 135. .447 left in the third quarter. Dickerson has 2 TDs. Still 3 tight ends, Love, Hunter, and Hill. This time the Cardinals got some penetration. Duda got in there. Mark Duda, number 73. He's out of Maryland, playing a new position.
Yeah, he's playing, well, in this, it's a goal line defense. He's playing over the right guard. Here he just shoots the gap. The center should have a cutoff, misses him. He gets in front of Eric, brings him down, all by himself.
Second and goal.
Ball is at the 9, second and goal as he lost 4.
The Cardinals can stop the Rams from scoring a touchdown in this drive. It may give them a little bit of a boost.
They sure need it.
Here they come.
And overthrew Redden, and down went Bartkowski with E.J. Jr. on top of him. Bartkowski said his knees feel terrific.
They do feel good. He's never really felt better. He's very happy to have the opportunity to play in Los Angeles. He feels like he's with a contending ball club. Like I said, he wants to be there more than just the 1 year that they've been through.
It's third down and goal from the 9 as Al Bubba Baker checks in.
There comes Noga. There comes E.J. Jr. Now he just gets rid of the football. Barry Redden was open, but unless somebody blocks him, you don't have time to get the ball out to the receivers.
Hunter in the backfield with him.
Here they come again.
Young goes in motion. Touchdown. Brown got both feet down. Now he juggled the ball, and now he says incomplete. He said you had your feet in, but you juggled the ball. Incomplete. He called it a touchdown and then said he juggled it. Lionel Washington was trying to cover. He did a great job with the feet.
Well, they run a corner pattern here, and he makes the catch. Evidently, the one official was watching his feet. The other official was watching possession of the ball. There he seems to have it.
And the ball came out.
But he loses it after he's out of bounds.
That's what I thought. Well, okay, we've had some touchy calls here, haven't we?
You know, I'm not sure whether the...
I thought that was a touchdown.
I did too. And he did too. I can't believe it.
Must be important.
Wait a second, hold on. I've got to talk to you about this.
Must be important. Now it's fourth down and a field goal try. 26 yards by Lansford. Jim Laughlin is snapping and Dills is holding. Good snap. Almost blocked it. The kick is good. And the score amounts to 16-3 in favor of the Rams with 3:41 left in the third quarter. Well, that girl should be in Hollywood.
Well,
3:41. 3:41 left in the third quarter. Rams leading 16-3. We'll have some scores for you after the kickoff here. By Mike Lansford to either by Sikahema or Stump Mitchell.
You know, even though the Rams scored, they only scored a field goal. That
Two
could
touchdowns and they're behind.
That's right.
And a squib kick. It's been touched and picked up by Farrell again, huh? And another good return by the fullback, Earl Farrell. And the Cardinals are at their 40-yard line. A little scuffle.
Dragging bodies out.
There's Van down at the bottom of it. Here's some scores of other games. San Francisco, Wersching makes it 17-7, third quarter over Tampa Bay. And Leroy Selman's jersey was retired. Gerald Riggs is back to work. He got a touchdown, and Atlanta leads 21-3 in the fourth quarter. And Eddie Murray makes it 10-3 fourth quarter over Minnesota. Washington leading 27-14. Another touchdown pass by Schrader. Cardinals from their 40. They better get busy. 3.5 left in the quarter. Mitchell's in the backfield running with the ball. Makes his cut and down he goes. And a flag goes down. And was somebody holding?
Mitchell ball game.
Who was holding, sir? It's against the Cardinals.
Against St. Louis.
A couple more scores as they mark it off. A touchdown pass caught by Walter Payton. Third quarter, 10-point lead Bears over Cleveland.
Holding number 64.
And Houston.
Offense, still first down.
There was a center, Randy Clark. You could tell by the way he looked around when the flag came down. Houston leads 31-3. And Warren Moon threw to Drew Hill, a former Ram, on a touchdown pass. First and how much is 10 and 10?
A lot. 20.
First and a lot. Going to try to get it all back here, Joe?
No, you never want to try and get it all back. You want to get back to second down and 12, second down and 10 maybe.
Roy Green in the lineup for St. Louis. Pass dropped by Mitchell. Oh, how many have they dropped? That was a pretty good scoring form screen, and they had people on the ground over there.
They had it set up. They had it set up very well. They're having trouble hanging on to the football. I mean, that's the bottom line of it. J.T. Smith has had 2 in his hands and dropped it. Lomax again.
Anderson could have caught at least one of them.
Possibly could have caught the one. Farrell there. Now, he might have been too close to his offensive lineman on that one. It may even gotten tangled up in it. But they're the miscues. He's 10 for 22 this afternoon. Should be about 15 for 22.
Second and 18.
Second down and 18 is what it is. It's Johnny Johnson and Mickey Sutton.
They need a big play.
Check into the game for the Rams. 3 minutes left in the third quarter. 4-man rush. Lomax gets a few yards. Hooray, say the fans, as the ball is caught by the tight end Doug Marsh. The backup quarterback for the Cardinals is Cliff Stout, the veteran who once sat 56 games in a row with the Steelers and didn't get into the game.
Yeah, but he's got a big Super Bowl ring.
He's
on
not
his
a bad passer.
No, he's not. He's very big. You know, I didn't realize he was as big as he is. Hasn't played in 14 months, though. He's had 3 days of work. If anything does happen to Neil
Well,
Lomax...
he played at Birmingham.
Well, it's been off for a while.
We have third down and 9 for the Cardinals. 3 wide receivers. 4-man rush. High and away, that ball was overthrown. Intended for J.T. Smith. The Cardinals will have to punt. You know, when you're aching, as Lomax is, with the knees and the ankle, it's like sending a baseball pitcher out there with a sore arm, man. It's tough to do. They can't stop and plant and
especially
throw.
when you have people in your face. I mean, if you could stand back there and you felt comfortable in the pocket, you could step up, you'd feel a little bit better. When your legs are bothering you, everybody thinks it's a quarterback's arm that's most important. I happen to think it's the legs. You need sound foundations underneath you to make the throws.
Here's the 7th punt coming up by Rapastathis. Mickey Sutton is the deep man inside the 20. Not too good. Sutton rushes up He caught it. Ooh, he whacked. Downfield for the Cardinals, DiBernardo made the tackle. Well, what's going to happen in the Eastern Division with the Cowboys, Giants? Do you think the Cardinals can win it?
I don't think the.
Do you think the Eagles can win it?
Cardinals got a little bit to go. The Eagles, who knows about? I would happen to think that they're not necessarily going to be in the running. I think they're looking just to get some respectability. Washington, the Giants, and the Cowboys all have legitimate chances. It's going to be a little bit like last year. Talking to Tom Landry a couple weeks ago, he feels like 10 wins is going to get you into the playoffs, and it won the division for him last year. That's a heck of a tight race.
Maybe those top 3 teams will be in the playoff. How about Everson Walls walking out of camp? Ball at the 27-yard line of the Rams. They stay with Bartkowski, and Dickerson runs by a tackler. And is spun down only after he crosses the 35-yard line. Mr. Dickerson piling up some yards. Noga finished it off. Still quite a bit of time to go here in the third quarter, and Dickerson may set a record for number of carries. 30 rushes, 139 yards.
I would have thought that I'll be honest with you, I would have thought they would have I think they wanted to put the football up a little bit.
Yeah, but why now?
But they figured, what the heck, we'll go with what we can do.
They're getting everything they want right here. 2nd and 2. Every direction he goes, he gets yards. That's a first down out to the Ram 45.
Dickerson, the ball carrier. Back out of bounds by Thurman.
Dennis Thurman ran him out. Those linemen are still good, and the Rams haven't made any substitutions.
Well, I think, here's Hara, Hill, Slater, Smith, all in the Pro Bowl last year. Pankey's the only one who didn't make it, and he was probably real close.
Plus the tight end, David Hill.
David Hill. David Hill is down, he's down 20 or 30 pounds down to 240, which is still a pretty hefty number.
Attaboy, Eric. Keep going, kid.
Dickerson, the ball carrier.
I think the Cardinals are going to see an awful lot. They've seen a lot of them already, and I happen to feel like the Rams are just going to sit on.
You know what Dickerson's going to do now? That's the most he has ever carried as a Ram. Previously, it was, he's coming up on 34, which was his high. And the team high is 36.
And that's held by Charles White as of last year. There goes a flag on the sidelines.
Against whom?
I think Coach Stallings might have expressed an opinion that the officials didn't agree with.
No.
Unsportsmanlike conduct against the St. Louis bench.
Head linesman is Ernie France.
Gene's still talking to him. He's still not real happy with the way things have gone. He's not done yet either.
He's giving him the bug eye, isn't he?
Well, he's staying close.
He's giving him the lasers right in the back of the head. Now the linesman says, well, you want 15 more? The entire Stallings family came up here from Dallas. The ball is at the 38. Another first down for the Rams. A lot of times the coach will do that to try to get his club fired up a little bit more than they are. Here's the up back, Redden breaking loose and ran over his own man. He ran right over Duckworth, and he had a big run. A flag is down, back upfield. Now one of the Rams kicks the flag. Penalty flag has been thrown. Then Dennis Hara kicked the flag. A lot of times they'll throw another one for that.
I don't like anything to happen to their laundry out there.
Number 56, offense.
Call was
Still
against
first
the
down.
center, Doug Smith.
Yeah, but you'll notice the linemen stay together. Pankey kicked it. He doesn't care who it's on. It's on one of the guys up front. They're going to kick it around.
They were really worried about Doug Smith last year. He had that head injury. They didn't know what the heck it was.
Yeah, he came back and had a great year.
He laid low, and we're happy to see him back. Nice kid out of Bowling Green. He was never drafted.
1980 free agent. Another one of those success stories that you find in the league.
We're down to 30 seconds left. There are the first downs. We're in the third quarter. First and 20 at the Cardinal 48. Dennis Thurman Theismann is in defensively for the Cardinals. Pretty strong tackler. Redden again. It's not quite like Dickerson running with the ball, is it? Although, this is not to say he's not a good runner, but when you don't have that block out in front of you.
That's the big thing, you know. I think a lot of people get...
Okay, that's the end of the third quarter. With the score 16-3 in favor of the Rams. We now pause for a word from your local station. CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Mitsubishi Motors. Experience the sensation of the all-new trucks from Mitsubishi. Mitsubishi, perfecting the experience. AC Delco, the smart parts. And by the American Express card. Don't leave home without it. The ball right here at the 50-yard line. And there's Barry Redden along the sideline. We'll talk about him in a minute, how important he is to the scheme of things with the Rams. Second down, 20. Michael Young is a wide receiver. Baker is on the quarterback. And a flag is down. Al Baker crunched Steve Bartkowski. And a flag came down. Now Stafford Mays is dismayed because of the call.
Offsides against Cardinals. Oh, they just...
Offside, number 60, defense, still first down.
They just have all the things that you can possibly have happen to you going wrong.
Well, that's how Baker happened to get in there. There's Barry Redden.
You know, Barry Redden the last couple of years, because they went to a single back offense, had not been getting the playing time that he thought he should get. And often the offensive line of the Rams gets a lot of credit, but also you have to give credit to Barry and the job he's done blocking for Eric Dickerson. A lot of those yards he wouldn't be able to get if he didn't have a guy like that back there leading him.
The ball is at the Cardinal 45, and it's second down, 17. Four-man rush. Bartkowski delivers, and it's incomplete. He was under heavy pressure. Joe, you know, Kelvin Bryant has scored another touchdown for the Rams, brother. He's going to make, or for the Redskins, he's going to make them tougher than ever, isn't he?
He really is. You know, we talked about it a little bit earlier. Herschel Walker has received all the publicity coming out of the USFL. Kelvin Bryant just sort of entered the National Football League. He's going to make his mark in the National Football League, not in the preseason or previous to it. He's a very complete back.
And I might as well give you that score while I'm about it with the...
34-14.
Okay.
Right.
In the third quarter. Third and 17. And he's down again. And with Baker in there once again. You know, the last couple of years, Baker's been playing on the left side. When he was with Detroit and so highly regarded, he played the weak side, the right side on defense.
Well, you know what's happened is the National Football League went to a lot of two tight end offense. Here he is lined up on the left. You can't even quite see him. Here he comes around, Panky. He does a job just shaking him, and now he's got tremendous speed and acceleration, comes around and hits Bartkowski. Now he's playing over an open side, which is natural for him with his speed to get around the corner real quick.
And a punt by Dale Hatcher. This is number 6 for him. And Sikahema decided to give it a try and returned it for only a couple of yards. Well, the Cardinals are still within striking distance. They trail by 13. They need 2 touchdowns. There were no flags. That's unusual on a punt.
They've got to make their move now. They've got to start moving the football. It's very important that they get down the field.
They were shut out in the third quarter. Martina won again today, defeated Hanna-Sukova.
Something different?
And then coming up, something different from football, tennis from the U.S. Open. Lendl against Machir here on CBS.
Machir beat Becker yesterday in a 5-setter.
Tilly and Green and Mitchell are in there, and the Cardinals are trailing by 13. Lomax is quarterbacked all the way. Lost the ball, and I think the Rams have it.
No, Lomax fell on it. Yeah.
Lomax
managed to cover it.
Lomax got it. Well, he's working with a veteran center in Randy Clark. You know, sometimes when you're hurting like that, you try to cheat a little bit. And that center snap is almost straight up. And if you don't hang in there, you're not going to get the ball.
I just think he doesn't feel comfortable back there. You know, last year they talked about confidence being a factor. He lost it towards the end of the season. This is not a game where he's gaining confidence. It's going to be a tough road for him if he keeps like this.
Eric Kennard playing that left guard spot for St. Louis. He wears number 70. Good coverage, and Roy Green dropped it. What do they call? He's down. It's good. It's a completion out at the 49-yard line. So he caught it, and he was down. And is he hurt? Yep, that's what they were afraid of. Now here, you have your team trailing by 13 in the fourth quarter. You play him. He gets hurt. He's going to be out for a month now.
He probably, that shoulder was not very good. He got that hurt in the Chicago game. He got it dinged up midway through the second quarter there. So it's been two and a half weeks. It still hasn't come around right. He smashes it down on the turf. And
Leroy Irvin tackled him.
All he has to do is have somebody fall. You don't really have to have somebody big or heavy or anybody falling. Even your own weight going into the turf with a bad shoulder will create a problem for you.
Well, it may not be his shoulder. Last year he had the bad foot. What is it, Roy? He's walking off pretty well.
Lomax does a nice job of getting the ball downfield to him. Here he comes back to it, makes a nice play, puts his arm down, and don't know what it'll be, but
St. Louis has lost one of their defensive backs. Lonnie Young is out with an ankle sprain. Doug Dawson is out with a bad ankle. It's the shoulder.
And it's been bothering him.
There's the 32-yard gain. Otis Anderson is in the backfield. The ball at the Ram 46. O.J. on a delay. They stood him straight up. The linebacker Eckern ran right into him, and he's strong enough to take care of himself. We're talking about Kennard, number 70 for the Cardinals.
Yeah, he's playing for Doug Dawson now. Came out of the USFL. He crosses over, hits the line, does a nice job. Well, you know, he's carrying 285.
Oh.
Well, watch out. Watch out. Get your hands down.
Got up a little high. You folks in L.A. know him from his days with the Los Angeles Express.
The anchor.
You know, O.J. Anderson is carried for 8 yards and 7 tries. Think the Rams aren't tough? So Lomax will throw. And he drilled it right over the middle to Tilley. That's a first down. Tough to hit him. Ball's at the 30, a 15-yard gain.
Yeah, he's been around. What he's going to do is he's going to run a hook pattern. Lomax, when he's had a chance to throw, has done a very good job. Here he comes around the linebacker, finds that little voided area, says, here I am. Bang, bang. Now watch out. I don't want to get hit. Let me get down. There we go.
This is his 11th year out of Louisiana Tech. The ball at the 30-yard line. We still have 11 and a half minutes left in the game. The game has still kept the attention of the fans here. Here comes Anderson. That's another first down.
Remember I said before he was an attack runner?
14
That's what
yards.
I meant. That's an attack runner. He delivers the blow on the defensive back.
14 yards that time. Vince Newsom and Nolan Cromwell were the tacklers. The ball is at the Los Angeles 16.
Newsom's going out after that hit. And it was Anderson's hit on Newsom that sent him to the sideline a little bit.
They replay it here on the video board. That's the reason for the crowd reaction. Cardinals are on the move. Marsh, the tight end on the right side. Pretty good surge with that line, and Farrell is inside the 10. Offensive line getting off very well.
Yeah, they really are. That big play to Roy Green, unfortunately, Roy got hurt on the play, but it's given the Cardinals a little bit of an inspiration. They've made some big runs and some big catches.
Johnny Johnson, who is in there, made that tackle, number 20, along with Mark Giroux. Giroux, number 59, they say he's getting better and better. Johnson and Johnson, the brothers are playing against each other for the 5th time in their careers. Second down and 3. At the 9. O.J. outside. First and goal. Cardinal drive's a good one. Johnny Johnson there to make the hit.
Yeah, Johnny comes up. Johnny came off a knee surgery this year, a little bit of orthoscopic surgery for his knees. Probably still not quite 100%, but with Newsome getting dinged there, he goes in to play the position. He also plays the corner for him. Gene's got to feel a little bit happier about what's going on now.
Yeah, but nothing has happened yet, and this is when the going really gets tough.
It's like I said, this real estate nobody gives up very easily.
First and goal. Tilly to the left. And there goes O.J. to the goal line. Touchdown. Oh, we've got a game here, folks. Good block by Bostic, and O.J. was hurt when he went into the end zone. Immediately, they called for help out there. I don't know what he did. Stump Mitchell tending to him. Do you like
here on the left of your, he's on the left of your screen. You'll see Stump Mitchell or Farrell leading. He makes the turn. O.J. comes around. He just does all by himself. Looks like somebody might have fallen on his leg.
You like AstroTurf?
I hate AstroTurf. I think they ought to make all fields in the National Football League grass. It's tough on you. I mean, if you stand on this for 3 hours, you're going to get a sore back. So you can imagine what it's like if you land on it.
O.J. is okay, too. He's hobbling back into the huddle. He just signed a new contract here, and he wants to prove that he's as tough as most people already knew he was.
Oh, he is tough. He's been injured throughout the last couple years, and a key for the Cardinals to have success this year is going to be able to keep O.J. Anderson healthy.
Well, we gave you his figures a while ago. He carried 7 times for 8 yards, but then he just opened it up a notch. Now the all-important extra point will be coming. We get word that Roy Green is all right and will return. 9:25 left. Early on, the Rams missed an extra point on a bad snap. And here's John Lee trying to make this a 16-10 game.
John Lee is in the extra point. Austin the hole.
Lee missed 1 extra point in the preseason. Austin holding, DiBernardo snapping. Good job by the holder. Not a very pretty kick.
It doesn't have to be pretty as long as it hits that net in between the uprights.
Well, the Cardinals are within 6. We have 9:25 left in the game. Well, that's the story that these two teams have written till now. 42,000 tickets sold and total attendance 40,347. Rams by 6, and Rapistopoulos kicks it deep, and it goes into and out of the end zone. It will come out to the 20 as Charles White let it go. Here's a final. First of the day, Houston Oilers. We thought they were going to be good. Beat Green Bay 31-3 in Green Bay. Warren Moon threw a couple and ran for one. And Atlanta opening up the gap on New Orleans in the fourth quarter, 31-3 with Archer the quarterback. Cleveland's within 10 in the fourth quarter in their game against the Bears. And there's the old pigskin at the 20-yard line of the Rams. And now they are obligated to move this football.
They certainly are.
Redden and Dickerson. Well, no rest for any of the frontliners of the Rams. Dickerson got a couple. I got 3. Now 4. Look at Redden out there.
Dickerson, the ball carrier.
Freddie Jones, number 53, and on the action along with Stafford Mays, number 76. How are you going to stop him?
Well, the Cardinals are going to have to get aggressive. They're going to have to come to the line of scrimmage, gamble a little bit, put 8 people up there. You can't sit back and play catch with the Ram offensive line and let Dickerson find holes to run through.
Well, Cleveland is within 7 in the fourth quarter at Chicago. Second and 7 here. And incomplete. Try to get it out to Duckworth. Wayne Smith covering. Vince Newsome of the Rams, one of their good defensive backs, has what they're calling a concussion and will not return. You saw him walk off the field on his own. There's Duckworth, for whom the pass was intended, and it's 3rd down for the Rams, and a big one.
Big one for the Cardinals as well. Bartkowski needs to complete this one to get his passing game going.
Thurman and Carter are in there defensively for St. Louis. They're without Lonnie Young. Let's see what kind of pressure they put on. It's a 4-man front. Four-man rush. Now a delayed blitz, and the pass is caught, and that's a first down. And a beautiful move by Duckworth, the veteran. Wayne Smith trying to cover it. Big throw.
Big throw. You know, they come after him. Bartkowski's had the time, except for a few times today, to be able to throw the football. Duckworth winds up one-on-one with the cornerback, makes the move, makes the catch, and picks up a few extra yards. Big conversion for the Rams.
And he winds up at the Rams' 40-yard line with 8 minutes left. That's what it'll be here in a couple of ticks. The score is 16-10, Los Angeles.
You come back now and give the ball to Dickerson again?
Oh, yeah. Why not? Getting 4 or 5 every time he carries the ball. Cardinals really have it stacked up, I'll say that. So they toss it to Dickerson. He's turned back in by Leonard Smith, who did a beautiful job. Fell off the block and made the tackle.
Oh, he really, you know, he's really coming up with hard support on the corner. Fights off the block with one shoulder, falls down inside.
Redden was blocking.
Here he'll come. You'll see him right in the center of your screen. He'll come firing across the line. Redden puts a block on him. He spins, gets an arm out, and gets just a little bit of a toe.
Dickerson doesn't always go down when you hit him like that.
Well, you know what's funny about runners like that is if you just nick their toes, they fall down. If you hit them solid, they keep going.
That's the 34th carry for Dickerson. Ties his previous high. Now he's one away from the Ram record. They whacked him that time. Nico Noga is in there. He's got some fire in his belly, that fella, I tell you that. He's a mean-looking devil.
Oh, he is. Yesterday he sat there very quietly, very comfortably. You wouldn't recognize the same guy in a locker room as you see him out here on the field.
Here's another third down confronting Bartkowski. Third down coming up. O.J. Anderson will not return to the game. He has a hamstring. Third down and a long 4. Make it 3rd and 5 at the 45. Four-man front for St. Louis. 6-man rush. They don't get there. It's tipped. It's dropped. And it's punting time for the Rams. Hunter was the intended receiver. Well, the Cardinals are going to get the ball back. 6:22 left.
Yeah, Hunter, you know, he's lined up in the backfield for protection. He gets out on the pass route. Thurman has to cover him. They gamble on 3rd down and 6 that he's not going to be able to make 6 yards. And he didn't.
Bartkowski had poor totals.
5 for 21. That's a tough afternoon. He's had a couple dropped, and he's really not been on all day.
And now Sikahema, who is going to catch the punt from Hatcher, has to be discriminate as to whether or not he's going to touch it. He's going to return it from the 10. Tackle by Mickey Sutton. Now Sikahema is not a burner. He's a firewalker, but he's not a burner. But he can cover some ground.
He just makes a nice cut here to come up inside. You'll see him continue up the field. Mickey Sutton's actually going to catch him from behind. Makes a move. Very exciting for a young guy.
Next Sunday on CBS, these two, Buddy Ryan, Mike Ditka, face to face. And of course, same to you, Mr. McMahon, and Mr. Payton. Nice guy, never sticks his tongue out. And there's the fridge, and a tough defense for the Bears. How's Ron Jaworski going to do against that defense? And Keith Byers will be there to help the Buckeye. The defense was good last year for the Eagles. You'll see it next Sunday here on CBS. I wish I could watch it.
Well, I will be able to find out what the score is. I happen to think the Bears really are going to want that football game. Buddy Ryan, everybody claims is responsible for their Super Bowl victory. Mike Ditka feels like he is. He gets a chance to prove it now.
Mitchell instead of Anderson for the Cardinals. And Roy Green is back in there, along with Pat Tilley. Marsh, the tight end. Running play to Mitchell. Oh, what a good defense. Stopped him right at the line of scrimmage. The good penetration by DeJournay. And the tackle by Mark Giroux. Looks like they're not going to do it that way.
No, you know, you're causing your offensive linemen to try and hold long blocks when you do misdirection plays, especially out of the eye. The ball carrier's lined up 7 yards deep. By the time he gets to the hole, even with the delay, it gives those defensive linemen a chance to fight off the blocks and make the play.
Hold a block without holding, right?
Right.
5:35 left. 2nd and 10. Flags are down, and the blitz is on, and down goes Lomax. Who was who and what was what? The Rams might have been offside. 5-yard sack. That's the 5th of the day.
Illegal
It's
formation.
against the Cardinals on the formation. They'll take the
Third
sack, the 5th. Well, the Ram defense is coming to the fore here.
You know, they
Mike
don't,
Wilcher.
and they don't blitz very often, but Wilcher is the one that they will bring quite a bit, whether it's a zone or a man-to-man defense. That was a man-to-man defense. They wanted to put a little more pressure on Lomax. Actually, they didn't need to, but they wanted to. Led the Rams last year with 12.5 sacks.
Well, the defense got the ball back for the offense, but they haven't been able to move it here. 3rd down and 19. 5:05 left in the game. Tough to get this many yards against the Rams. Good protection. Dropping off short. See what they can do with Marsh, but he's way short. He's back to the original line of scrimmage, and it's 4th down, so they'll have to punt or try a trick play with 4:45 left in the game.
What they did at that point, they did not want to make a mistake. They'll let their kicking team punt the ball to the Rams, count on their defense to get the ball back for them. One more try. I'm pretty sure that's what Coach Stallings wanted to try and do. They're playing for one good long drive to win this ball game at the end. They
What's
want
this
to have
fella's
possession. Evan.
Rapastathis.
Rapastathis. Got it.
This is his 8th punt. 37-yard average. Sutton back waiting for it, along with Johnny Johnson. Pretty good coverage by the Cardinals. Fair catch called for. Whoops. Did it touch anybody? Nope. And it rolls inside the 25. We have the men's final of the U.S. Open after this game. And then tonight on CBS, 60 Minutes, Murder, She Wrote. And a CBS movie, Secrets of a Mother and Daughter. So there's no need to change the dial. Football, tennis, and 60 Minutes.
Entertainment.
Well, what are the Cardinals going to do? They still have to try to contain Dickerson. It should open it up for Bartkowski, shouldn't it?
It should, but Bartkowski just hasn't been able, 5 for 21 this afternoon. I would gamble and say, I'm going to put people at the line of scrimmage. We're going to stop Eric Dickerson. You want to run the football, we want to stop you.
That's
Make
the way they
Bartkowski throw.
They're really stacked in there. 2 tight ends for the Rams. Look at it. It's tough to run when they're piled in there like that. They're using Duval Love, Hill, and Hunter as tight ends. You can hardly run when it's like that, Joe.
No, you really can't. There's no place for anybody to cut. Redden is a guy who likes to cut inside. Dickerson's a guy who likes to move inside. They look for the linemen to create lanes.
That's why they tried those tosses earlier, trying to get outside.
They block down with the tackle, block down with the tight end, kick out with the fullback, and give him an alley to run to.
Mark Duda was the anchor of that defense. 3:35 left in the game. 2nd down, 9.
This is a big call because it gives them either a 3rd and long or a 3rd and short, and they want to have the 3rd and short.
Little different defensive alignment for the Cardinals. They give it to Dickerson, and he broke tackles and got some yards. Leonard Smith missed him early. Lionel Washington knocked him down. 3:15 left. This is a good game.
It really is.
Rams leading 16-10. 3:10 left.
That's a great football player right there.
And a couple of scores for you. San Francisco opening daylight, leading 24-7 over Tampa Bay.
We get a shot at, get the chance to look at Tampa Bay next week.
Looks like Atlanta's going to win 31-3, 4th quarter. Crowd hollering here on 3rd down and 4. What are you going to do, Steve? Motion by Duckworth. Dickerson again. There he goes for a 1st down. With 2:37 left, he's out of bounds. Washington and Smith got him. A little different formation and good blocking. Good blocking.
Jackie Slater. Jackie Slater comes down on 78. Gets out, comes here to E.J. Jr., sets up a wall, makes Jr. go around him. There goes Eric Dickerson around the outside.
Doesn't take him long, does it?
Boy, it certainly doesn't.
He's got some yards now. Dickerson, 37 carries. That's a team record. 184 yards and 2 touchdowns. Team record for most carries. The ball's at midfield. Rams protecting a 6-point lead. Redden. A little bit of a difference, isn't it? No gain. Maybe a yard. Charlie Baker made that tackle. We're at Busch Stadium 40,347 on hand. Sun shining now. We're down to 2:23 left in the game. Rams sitting on a 16-10 lead. Not sitting on it. Trying to improve it. And we have a timeout. St. Louis. That's the first timeout employed by the Cardinals. Steve Dills, John Robinson, Dick Corey trying to figure out a way to, not that that was Corey in your picture, they're trying to figure a way to keep this drive going.
Well, the way they keep the drive going, actually what they're doing is probably discussing which play to give the ball to Eric Dickerson on. It's not a question of who's going to carry it, but it's which play he's going to carry it on.
They did get outside, didn't they? Good block by Slater.
Well, what happens is you get everybody blitzing inside. You get one block and actually wind up blocking 3 or 4 people and give them, with his speed, he'll circle the defense and get up the field.
I pointed out it was a little different alignment by the Cardinals, and probably they just called the right play.
Well, exactly what happens. That cornerback's been firing off that strong side where the tight end is. They move the man in motion. You get him blocked, and really there's nobody out there.
Coming up next, Lendl and Machir in the finals. Martina Navratilova won the ladies' title. You'll see that on CBS. Lendl and Machir. 2nd down and 9. This telecast presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals and the National Football League is prohibited. 2nd and 9 in midfield. Brown and Duckworth to the left. Hunter on the right, Hill on the left, the tight ends. Motion by Duckworth. Cardinals really stacking it up. Dickerson saw it, went outside, broke a tackle, broke another. Down he goes, but good yards, and a flag is down. A flag is down. Dickerson saw them coming up and did something about it. I think he changed it on his own.
What, the play? No, I don't.
No, I mean his route.
Oh, absolutely. He gets outside. He gets one-on-one with Dennis Theismann. This is a big play for the Cardinals.
The motion penalty against the Rams.
That's right.
And it stops the clock, too.
Offense. Still 2nd down.
I still don't feel like the Rams are going to change what they want to do. They're probably going to run the football here, try and keep that clock going.
2:17 left. Who do you think the leading rusher in the NFL will be when the curtain comes down here?
Gee, you know, I would say Eric Dickerson if I was, going to try and pick out one guy. You agree?
He's got a heck of a shot at it, I tell you that. It's 2nd down and less than 15, as it turns out. It's 2nd down and 14. And we're down to the 2-minute warning and an official timeout. Rams leading by 6. John Robinson has walked a couple of miles here today. He leads by 6 with 2 minutes left in the game. The Detroit Lions beat Minnesota. That final score 13-10. Second final of the day. Houston beat Green Bay, we saw earlier. Now we have 2nd down and 14 for the Rams at their own 46. Dickerson again, and he breaks across the original line of scrimmage. Fumble! And the ball belongs to St. Louis, they think. They do have it. A flag is down, a motion call against the Rams declined, and the Cardinals have the ball with 1:52 left at about their 37.
Penalties declined. 1st down.
Okay. Noga recovered the fumble. Dickerson slow in getting up. He fumbled one earlier, and his teammate recovered.
He's let a lot of them go. Here he gets through the line of scrimmage. There you see the flag. That's the hit. That's the hit right there. The second hit's the one that causes the problem for him.
Now another Ram player is shaken up.
Dennis Theismann knocks it loose.
Theismann knocked it loose. Noga recovered it. And the Cardinals have the ball at their 37-yard line. Dickerson is slow. So O.J. Anderson had to duck out earlier with a hamstring injury. For all of his good work, Dickerson has just fumbled the ball. 38 rushes, 193 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Now what do you do with the ball, Joe Theismann?
Well, you got 2 timeouts. You've got a little over 60 yards to go. You've got to score a touchdown. You're not playing for a field goal. I would still try and throw underneath controlled pass routes. They're going to play a zone, which really is in St. Louis's favor. because they're probably not going to put as much pressure on unless they blitz, which they did the one time. I don't believe they will. There are going to be seams. You'll see Tilley catch the ball. You'll see Green catch the ball.
You'll see
probably
Mitchell
hooking around.
catch the ball.
You'll see Mitchell catch the ball as well coming out of the backfield. And Farrell.
Noga recovered all 3 Los Angeles fumbles. Out of the shotgun. Why fool anybody? 3 wide receivers. 4-man rush. Drop it off to Mitchell. First down.
More importantly, out of bounds.
And out of bounds.
Save the timeout.
And then they whacked him over there. He went down. Now Mitchell is down. I don't know if he got hit or slipped and went down on his own. Came dangerous close to that cart over there.
Jerry Gray's going to run him out of bounds. There he is. He just gets the first down. Nobody catches him, and it's
holy smokes
over the top into the cart.
Man,
I'll tell you what happens. If that was on the Cardinals sideline, somebody would have caught him. It's just like, you know, in a baseball where a guy's heading for the dugout and they catch him. Depends on which dugout you're in. If you're heading for your own dugout, they catch you. If you're not, they sort of get out of the way.
Really?
Yeah.
They wouldn't do that.
Well, I don't think they did it intentionally, but it just happened.
There's Dickerson as they check him out. The ball is at the Cardinal 48. They need a touchdown and an extra point. They trail by 6 to pull off an upset here. Jeter is in there to help with the pass rush for the Rams. First down. They pick it up again. That's J.T. Smith, and he's good for about 9 or 10. That's a first down. Giroux and Eckern tackled him. Hurry up offense for the Cardinals.
Going to get on the line of scrimmage. They got the first down.
They're at the Ram 47. 1:22 left. Swing it out here, and it is dropped by Farrell. Cromwell coming up to cover. That stops the clock with 1:19 left. Incomplete pass. That would have been good for about 4 or 5, but it did stop the clock.
Well, you know, this is a situation in the ballgame where the Rams, being a zone defensive team, does not play into their favor. They're going to give up the 10, 12, 13 yard.
Yeah, but they can do that because a field goal is not going to do it for the Cardinals.
But you can't.
Belongs to St. Louis at the 30. Pretty good call, Joe.
Yeah, they're going to keep trying to get the ball. You know, you got the zones. Everybody's back. Why try and force it down the field?
First down throw. First down again to Tilley.
Timeout.
Inside the 15.
Timeout Cardinals.
Timeout Cardinals. Well, this is really tough. 41 seconds left. Johnson made that tackle. Really tough when you need a touchdown.
You really do. They're really in 4-down area right now. Whether or not they need the timeout, they're going to have to put the ball into the end zone with every throw. They've got plenty of time to get it done. 41 seconds. You can run off 7, 8 plays in this period of time. This is where the Ram defense is really going to have to tighten up the reins a bit.
Are you surprised they're not gambling on defense?
It's not their nature. I'm not surprised at all. John Robinson has a philosophy. He stays with his philosophy under all circumstances. They're not a man-to-man football team. They don't practice it. There's no sense playing it.
Cardinals have 1 timeout left. Lomax is 18 out of 32, and Dickerson has bruised ribs. And that's the reason he left.
On the headsets, talking to Gene Stallings, Jim Shopton, who handles the offense for the Cardinals. John looks a little bit concerned, and he should be.
How about those 4 points the Rams missed earlier? Field goal and extra point.
They always look. It never fails, no matter where you miss an extra point. Field goals, yes, but an extra point in a ball game, it always seems to come back and haunt you somewhere. If nothing else, it gives you an ulcer.
First and goal at the 12. And if the Cardinals score, the Rams are going to have very little time, if any, to come back and try to kick a field goal. The ball's at the 12. The sun is shining, and Robinson is piling up the miles along the sideline. And there's something. I didn't expect this to happen.
I think the Rams are a little bit stunned. I think they felt like they were going to handle the Cardinals a little bit easier. Now they have to pull up the bootstraps and dig in.
They still have the extra back in there, Johnny Johnson. They still have Jeter to help with the pass rush. The ball's at the 12-yard line. And I'll bet John Lee is nervous as heck along the sideline. Inside handoff, and Farrell is really whacked. Holy, what a hit. And they lost yards, and the clock continues to run. We're down to 30 seconds. And now the officials have to stop the clock because of the injured players. Kevin Green, who looks like the Hulk Hogan when you see him without his football uniform on, he really mashed Farrell, and they're both out of business.
They're both down on one knee, right? I don't understand this call. I really don't. Maybe they thought they were going to catch him in surprise, but they're still playing zone.
Yeah, and the clock's still running.
There's a head-on-head collision. Man on man. Bang. That's football. You want to know what football is? That's football.
Better him than me. There's Jim Schaffner on the headset. There's John Lee wondering if the Cardinals are going to tie it, and he's going to try to kick it. Now the ball is back at the 19. They lost 7 yards. I know it's a second guess, but it was a strange call.
It was a strange call. I just think if you're that close, you've got to take shots at putting the ball in the end zone.
Okay, now how do you do it? How do you get in the end zone?
Now what you do, oddly enough, is you don't try and get in the end zone. You try and get half the distance. You're on what? You're on the 14-yard line. So what you 14, 15 line. What you want to do is you want to get down around the 7-8 so that you can throw incompletions if you have to stop the clock. You still have the one timeout left, I believe. So you've got plenty of tools to work with. The question is, you're not going to. I don't think you should try and get it in the end zone at this point. I think you should try and get half the distance, get it out of bounds, and then give yourself 4 good shots.
They mark the ball at the 15. And we have the U.S. Open coverage on CBS coming up when this good football game is over. The ball at the 15, and it's second down and 10.
I think the Ram fans are a little bit stunned is what's going on as well.
16-10, the Rams lead. The Rams sure covered that last run very well, didn't they? Cardinals made that play work frequently for them last year. Now Roy Green is to the right, Tilley's to the left, J.T. Smith is to the right.
Stump Mitchell, Ron Wolfley in the back.
Wolfley's in the backfield to help with the blocking. And it is incomplete, and the whistle did not blow. So it's 27 seconds left, and it's 3rd and 10. Gary Jeter had a hold of him. I'm surprised that the referee didn't blow the whistle in the grasp of. Desjardins was also a big pressure force, and it's 3rd and 13.
Sometimes the officials call you in the grasp. Sometimes they don't. There really has not been consistency. All through the preseason, there hasn't been consistency, and it's really a judgment call by the back judge, referee, and evidently he didn't feel like Lomax was tied up.
Cardinals have 2 more cracks at it. The Ram defense is very loose. Going to put it up for grabs. And he throws short to Mitchell. Now we're down to 20 seconds left, and it's still 4th down. Now watch the clock, and the Cardinals use their last timeout. Now how many passes can you throw in 18 seconds?
Well, you're going to have to throw 1 because it's 4th down. See,
That's
they're
right.
only going to get 1 pop at it unless they get it in. You know, he's got a decision to make here. Do you try and run to get the first down?
You can't run.
Well,
you cannot run.
I didn't think they could run on 1st down either the last time. I thought they'd try and move it down. You move the ball
Joe,
down.
they can't run now because the Rams, if they don't get in the end zone, the game is over. You got to throw the ball.
You
got to hit it and get the 2 or 3 yards you need for the first down. You talk about a tough call. This is one.
Okay, you ask me how many throws they get. They get 1 throw.
That's right. Okay.
You're going to get 1 throw probably because it is 4th down.
You see, the ball is resting just inside the 5. So if they run it, you're going to have to go 4 yards, and you're not going to do that against the Rams, especially with a 4-man rush, and they're good linebackers.
Absolutely agree with you. Absolutely.
So you got to throw it, and it's you either hit it or you don't. It doesn't have to be in the end zone.
That's right.
Because you can line up and throw the ball out of bounds and stop the clock with 18 seconds left.
I happen to think, though, they're going to be down there. I think they'll try and put it in the end zone. I really do.
Throw it in the end zone.
You have to. Yeah, you're going to have to throw it in the end zone.
Is that what you would do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lomax, 19 out of 34. And this Ram defense is a veteran defense. People, they're running people all over.
Like a shuttle service out there. Let's bring 1 in, 1 out.
And this a heck of a finish. 4th down and a long 2 for the first down. And they're 4 yards away from tying the game. Johnny Johnson and Mickey Sutton are in there defensively for the Rams. Okay.
Well, I've been in a huddle like this before.
Green
You want to make sure everybody knows what they're doing.
Tilly left, Green right. The tight end is Marsh. They might try to hit the tight end in a spot like this. He's on the right side. They run it to Mitchell. And he got a first down, but it's not a touchdown. Now watch the clock. They've got time. They've got time.
What happens is the Rams aren't letting him up.
Okay, the time is going to run out. This game's over, folks. This game is over. And flags go down, and we'll see what it's all about. Now, if it's a foul against the defense, the game is not over. If this penalty is against the defense, the game is not over. If it's against the Cardinals, it's over. And
Illegal motion by the offense, not set. The game is over.
Game is over. The Cardinals didn't get set. Well, you see what the Rams did. They were very smart. They had, we have 18 seconds left when they snapped the ball. And they just didn't let the Cardinals get back on their feet. But that's what happened. Here's what happens when you run the ball and don't get the touchdown.
You're exactly right, but you got to give credit to the Ram defense. What happens is he's down, okay? Now, the Ram defense, they're not going to get off him. The officials are. Why should they? They're not going to stop the clock here. The linemen should be in there pulling guys off. Get off the ball.
The only thing that could have saved the Cardinals here was the officials say that the Rams were lingering and they would stop the clock.
That's exactly right. But they did not.
But they did not.
That's exactly right.
Well, 16-10.
I'm exhausted.
The Rams won it, and we certainly hope you enjoyed it. For Joe Theismann, this is Jack Buck saying so long from Busch Stadium in St. Louis. The final score, 16-10 Rams. Coming up next, it's Ivan Lendl against Miloslav Mircir. The men's finals of the U.S. Open Tennis Championships live from Flushing Meadows, New York. Next Sunday, a full slate of NFL regional games. Many will see the Eagles take on the Bears in Chicago. And at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, the 49ers battle the Rams.